Hello and welcome to Transformers, the show number 61. On tonight's show, we've got all the news on Rodemus Prime coming through on Kingdom. Plus, we've got a Beast Wars announcement, loads of robots coming through there. We've also got David joining us, who's going to chat to us about TFN and the big broadcast and what's happening this year. Plus, we've got a discussion about Hasbro Pulse. It's Saturday night, it's 7 o'clock. It's time for Transformers, the show.
It's time for news.
I talk some TV, and now the news. Don't touch that dial.
News. TFNation, sadly cancelled, but obviously not a massive shock given the situation that we're in.
With Brexit.
Exactly. With Brexit,
sorry.
Yes.
It's not his.
And Mrs. Brown Boys is still on air. So
I know. Where's the justice in the world?
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously disappointing news, and a lot of people were disappointed. But I think overwhelmingly, at least from what I saw online, people understood completely the reasons behind it. So, I mean, what kind of feedback have you had so far, Dave, or have you seen yourself?
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there. Definitely, the feedback has been fantastic because, you know, at the end of the day, we're not doing this out of want to do it. You know, it's the reality of it. It's just we still don't know where we're going to be in August, and until we get back to some kind of normality, you know, you don't want to take that risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're kind of in that awkward place, aren't you, in August? Like, of all the months that you could be in, that's the one that's like kind of right at the end of when the restrictions along mass gatherings might be coming to the end. You know, if it was January or December, you'd probably be more confident having that time.
I think the worst thing would be is we could say that most about the UK, but the rest of the world is not even at UK's level yet.
That's true. I mean, that's the thing as well. Yeah, it's, you know, it's international guests. Where do they stand? Where do flights stand? And that's not just guests, but obviously that's that's attendees coming in as well. Because obviously there's a big contingent of people who obviously fly in for the show. Would they be able to get there? Yeah, I mean, we just, you know, it's, you do the maths and it's like, right, well, it's March now and not everybody's had their first one. And then you have to wait 3 months to have your second jab. Then you have to wait 3 weeks after that. It cuts a little bit too close, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that is the problem, isn't it? It's definitely the right decision. It's just obviously, you know, not the decision we were all hoping for, but then again, the situation isn't what we were hoping for. So
no.
Then we move on to happier news, hopefully, for most people. So we had some more reveals or some more information about some of the Studio Series 86 figures that are going to be coming out. So obviously got Wreck-Gar.
Does that mean it could be a squad of them? Because if he's priced about $40, that's almost like, you know, near enough leader class, isn't it?
Well, he's a Voyager according to this, so he's got to come with, you know, you would imagine a host of accessories, probably linked into the fact that the Junkions in the movie, obviously you could smash them apart and they could just stick other parts on and carry on as normal.
Well, are you saying a sort of Mordock from He-Man, like you can just combine loads of different bits? That would be awesome.
Well, you might be. I mean, I was thinking like the cup that we've had from...
Yeah, I was going to say, cup seems like the obvious thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, because we saw in the film that they'd crash and an arm would pop off or a leg would pop off, they'd just pull it back on or whatever and then transform and off they went again. So I could definitely see them doing that as a gimmick. And if we're getting sweeps, maybe some Junkions as well to go with Wreck-Gar so that you've got, you know, that little team of them.
Well, I mean,
that'd be cool.
That's the thing though, like, it's funny because if you think back to the 86 movie, you don't really necessarily think of any particular item or anything like that Wreck-Gar might, you know, come with. I mean, the original toy came with his axe, and he fought Springer with that.
Yeah.
But it's not like Cup, who obviously came with, you know, the Energon goodies and stuff.
Yeah, the Energon goodie case.
And Hot Rod with his, you know, his saw blade and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what the package
didn't
with
they
them.
have the Wreckers have polish?
Yes, they did. Maybe it's coming with loads of polish. Like just loads.
You know what? I would be
Six
totally
polishes.
down for that.
You might have that. I mean, Rick had a. Did he have a
Metal
shield?
brush.
In some
He
of the
had
cartoons of
an
him,
oil
and,
drum, which used to. He had an oil drum.
Oh,
he
the
banged
oil
together,
drum, yeah.
Yeah,
And he had his,
that would be
his,
cool.
his little TV, and again there was a guy with the lubricant, which then again
No,
there was
you're
a guy
right,
that-
actually,
the guy
yeah.
with the net as well. So
he needs to come with a TV, and he needs to have the gimmick where like you can store the TV in his stomach.
So TV
the
polish.
MP version does. The
barrel.
MP version you can have the TV.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
Cool.
So then we've
It's
also
coming with
got
household
Kingdom
appliances. And I always said that was a dream of mine for Transformers to come with household appliances.
Oh,
You can
I've
start
seen
Revenge
the
of
bless
the
your
Fallen's
little
little toaster.
Glaswegian dreams.
Yeah.
We've also got Grindor, or at least we assume it's Grindor that's been confirmed. Which
Is that
Is
not
that
an app
Kingdom?
you have, Andy?
pardon?
I thought that was the name of an app
Oh.
you had. No,
Bless you.
No, not anymore.
Right.
I'd get rid of the burner phone.
Yes, that's no.
Then of course, 86 Slag and Danny.
It's an app I've got.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds more like one of yours, Paul.
Is this going to get us banned from Facebook every time we type this in? I can't wait till I get
Possibly.
this.
And then Rhinox as well. So we're going to get a new Voyager Rhinox, which will have to go some to be as good as the Generations one.
Can you just see his mouth? Watch this. Oh, just comes off completely, and then you
Hate
see
it
his
when that
head.
happens.
Hello. Just a great
The Slag and Danny thing is interesting. One, it confirms the speculation that we'd heard quite a while ago that we are actually getting Voyager and Leader class Dinobots, which is great. But also, he's called Slag again.
Yeah. Thank God for that.
It's a brave new world now, David.
Yes. See how long before that gets cancelled.
This is the start of the fight back.
And then we have G2 Ramjet, which was it revealed and then up for pre-order pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah.
Guessing this leads to the fact that these Seeker molds for Earthrise must have sold loads, like absolute bucket loads. Because they just keep. I know they always repeat them, but they're really clawing at ideas to come out with more molds to sell.
There'll be people who buy this just to repaint it to look like Ramjet if they
The
didn't manage
paint
to get
work
that
looks
too far.
awesome. You know.
But that paint color, yeah, that paint scheme is amazing. God bless G2.
But I like the way he's got his name on it, like, you know, one of these, when you're a little kid, you have your name in your t-shirt just in case he forgets.
I forget.
It's exactly what it is, Jamie, in case he forgets when he smashes into a mountain or whatever he bangs into at the time. And then, of course, arguably the biggest reveal of the week, maybe not, TFN obviously, but we had Rodemus Prime, or at least Rodimus from Kingdom, and we had some official photos of him finally released. So there he is, Voyager size, but counted as a commander class, is what people are saying.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I hope he's Voyager size. I'll be disappointed if he's the same size as Ultra Magnus. If he's about in between Prime and Ultra Magnus, I could live with that. But I hope he's Voyager size.
Yeah. Give me this toy now. I don't care if it's Voyager or Commander. Just like, I want this now.
He just looks so good. I think he's like, you know, he can make people pregnant by just looking at this figure. It's just awesome.
That potent.
It's a good face sculpt, isn't it? Like, and
Yeah.
it's probably not represented in the MP one where you go from. It's not a massive difference to the normal hot rod when it turns to Rodimus, but he's got that adult look about him. You don't get that. The MP one, I don't feel you get that. It just kind of looks like a slightly bigger hot rod, whereas this one looks like an actual Rodimus Prime.
He looks like a Transformer UK Rodemus Prime, you know, the one who would beat someone to a pulp. You know,
Someone said on Twitter that Rodimus Prime, or Hot Rod to Rodimus Prime, if you look at the face sculpt, it reminds you of what it's like when you go from being a kid to an adult with responsibility, about how you age about 30 years overnight.
Yeah.
I remember he
that
went
is
back to
gonna
being
help
Hot Rod in Power of the Primes, Machinima.
Yeah.
As soon as he went
chuffed
back, he just turned into a little teenager again. He was being a little prick again.
Not to be
I
a
don't
kid
care
again.
about anything.
Well, I mean, they did that a couple of times in the original cartoon, didn't they? I mean,
Yeah, that's
like
right.
Dark Awakening, he like hands Prime the Matrix and then like loses about like 3 foot.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah, I mean, I look at it and
Oh,
like Andy was said,
responsibility.
it's like that face. It's just, I mean, it's like Hot Rod as a youngster, you know, maybe to get to sleep he masturbated, but now Hot Rod, Rodemus Prime, now he's much older, he just probably cries himself to sleep. Both involve tissues at the side of the bed, but yeah.
I'm not sure if we're talking about Rodimus Prime anymore here. You're just going through a backstory of your childhood. And,
so good if Toys R Us was still open, you could do the blurb for their toys.
Yeah.
Has no one seen the big thing about this picture yet? Has no one noticed the difference in this, from this picture to like, I think, I haven't got a serious Hot Rod, the difference in this to every other. He's got an ab crunch.
Oh yeah.
That's new.
It actually
right?
looks like it's...
Has he, or is that... It's
I thought
rotation on the hip, isn't it?
Looks like ab crunch to me.
No, but do you know how Jazz has got two waists? He's got like a waist, then he's got another waist, so
I haven't got one.
So you can
yeah. I see what you mean.
Won't understand.
Like with the I'm not too keen on the fact that he comes with a sword of Primus. That seems like a bit of a missed opportunity for me with Rodimus Prime. Like, but
doesn't look good though. I mean,
why does it bend? Why does the sword bend? It looks like it's got a bend in it.
Probably just storage, I would imagine.
Store sword.
Is it to bend, or is that a little
peg?
So you can plug it in on his peg, so you can plug it in on his maybe his vehicle mode or something like that for storage.
But his hip.
Possibly, yeah. Maybe on his back.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantasizing about what that
Talk
peg
about
could
this
be.
all night.
It's funny that our wives don't watch the show.
Mine does. She doesn't like it, but anyway.
likes it.
We've got. Of course she does. That's what she tells me.
She is crying a lot. I always thought that was tears of joy. Maybe
we've got more Walmart exclusives coming out, and we all love those. Who doesn't love Walmart exclusives? Because they're always so great for us over here.
Easy to get, nice and cheap.
Well, who knows? Maybe.
Well, you never know. It might be easier.
Yeah, it's interesting that they seem to be like promoting this in some kind of like countdown way. That concerns me. Like, it always concerns me when somebody's trying to drum up attention for an exclusive.
If it's Photobots, I'll scream for.
With joy.
With
joy.
If it turns out that it's anything like anything other than just a random repaint of a character that I've already got.
John, it certainly is.
You know, if they turn around and like, oh, here's Sure Shot.
Could you imagine?
Point blank.
Point blank as a 2-pack.
Point blank. I would scream again as well. I just go, damn you, Walmart.
I'll just leave the fandom. I'll see you later.
You know, but
oh, sorry, that was the photo that you shared, wasn't it, Jamie?
Yeah.
So did you do that, Jamie, or did you find that?
No, I nabbed this from the internet somewhere. Someone was showing, you know, they think it's mistransformed.
Yes.
And that's what it should be like.
Doesn't make sense.
I think it's a hope. As much
well, you see the tabs in the top, and as Paul was talking about, you've also got the tabs on the actual the cylinders as well.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me that shouldn't be shown. Why else would they be there?
Well, if you look at the vents on his just above the canopy, but just below the yellow spoiler, there's a difference in height where the spoiler clips in. So if the spoiler clips in the lower part, those vents get in the way. They have to be at an angle, pointed up. So that wouldn't work where it is there because he hasn't taken into consideration the actual vents that being there. So unless that just slides back and there's the spoiler is just clipped in and loose, which it might be. I don't know what it was. I can't remember what it was like on the original picture you showed when it was just the car mode. So but
yeah, but you see the sockets and the tabs, you know, just above the cylinders. Why would you?
Yeah, that's the bit which I think is the giveaway.
It just doesn't make sense. That photo above there, the way it looks, just doesn't make sense unless it is.
Yeah.
Well,
and don't forget, this is some transformer that. Sorry, go on, Dave.
No, I was just going to say, I do hope it is mistransformed. But correct me if I'm wrong, but because I don't have Hot Rod yet, and I don't know how much of a remold this is, or a retool of the Hot Rod figure. It certainly doesn't look like it from any comparisons that I've seen. Like even the front of the car and the arms and stuff like that all look, you know, pretty much brand new molding. But those pipes that are on the side of the truck, not the ones at the top, but at the bottom, that is part of Hot Rod, isn't it? Like that's not part of the trailer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the bent ones. The ones on the top picture at the very front are far left are.
No,
Those.
but
No,
yeah,
but-
but
in the car.
if you go back to the robot picture and you look at his, if you look behind his legs, he's got the pipes there.
Mm.
He's got the pipes in his legs, and there's the red tab that they're hung on to.
And you can see the pipes are much longer because you can see it's like connected. So maybe because remember he's going to have two modes. He's got a mode when he's not connected to the trailer. And
Sorry,
he's
go
got
back
a
to the
mode-
car mode again. Go back to the original car where it just shows the car.
See,
Oh
Bit
no,
long.
yeah, they are
Yeah.
much longer, aren't they? Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, that would make sense then.
It sits on top, the spoiler. So there's no other peg, is there, for it to sit on?
Yeah, that looks more to me like that's for the canopy. That part. I wondered whether that would be able to move forward. But
So this could be the best Rodemus Prime out there.
We'll
Can
see.
it? Alexis, would you say third party? I don't like the MP version, really. Doesn't come with the
you've got
Winnebago,
Dix.
does it?
You've got MP09, which which Jamie obviously got excited about, thinking it was the
That shows you how good the Hasbro stuff is becoming now. I got confused.
Yeah, but
with the
MP09
picture.
is what, 9 years old?
It's old. It is old. It's very old. You've got DX9, which is just as old, to be honest. It's about 7 years old.
Then you got DX9, Deep Space
Mac
Nine.
Fans Toys.
I think Max Fans Toys is quite similar to the Studio Series Hot Rod, actually.
No, the Hot
But
Rodemus. Hot Rodemus.
No, I
Rodemus
know,
Prime.
yes, no, I know the big version.
Papa
I
Toys
think
is
that
the Hot
way
Rod,
it tra-
isn't it?
No, I know,
Yeah.
but I think the way the Mech Fans Toys Putt Legends, one, the bigger one, the Hot Rodemus, the Rodemus Prime, transforms similar to the Studio Series Hot Rod from the way it looks.
He just looks amazing. We need to have him now.
that's one of the scale photos, isn't it, Jamie? I want to say it was someone like Larkin's Lair had mocked up some scale photos using the peg holes.
And there's the blast effect, isn't
sizing
it?
it all up. And
Blast effect's the same.
that one's for the blast effect, yeah. We're assuming it's the
Oh,
same.
sorry, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
it's like-
Am I
We've
the
all
only
seen-
one who wants purple blast effects?
Oh, no, we definitely
No.
need some.
I don't
I want all
understand
the
why we've
colours.
not had them yet.
I know.
Like,
Purple costs more.
What you got to do?
They won't
Dave,
give us
is
it.
if
They have to
you
mine
put-
the purple. It's further
If
down.
you put,
Did we
you
have
put
a
the blue
picture
one-
of the trailer one? Because that was
Uh,
I didn't like, and a lot of people like. I hope that's not the truth.
I haven't doubt
That's
the only
professional.
one of the that we had of the trailer was a lower resolution one from the first
Yeah.
week. So I haven't
I'm
downloaded
glad
that one
because
yet,
I think
but-
it's personally abysmal, and I don't want it to be true.
what, the trailer?
You know, when they've got Optimus Prime's trailer
Oh,
in
sorry.
comparison. Remember
Yes,
someone was trying
yeah,
another
that didn't
scale.
that didn't look.
I
yeah,
know. I
that
was just
didn't
like, oh my god, no.
Dave,
But
if
we'll-
you want to get purple, you just got to put the blue one and the orange one in the wash. I'm sure they'll mix. So
yeah, I never
Oh.
thought about that.
Science, thank you.
Oh,
Alexis.
those wash machine jokes are fantastic, Alexis.
I've got a
And
book.
moving on now to Dave's area of expertise as he comes once again to educate us on matters of Beast Wars. This wasn't a surprise because we knew they were coming, but there was a bit of speculation I know about, are they actually going to be the original toys re-released, or are they going to be just like newer toys in old style packaging? And it is the original toys, isn't it, Dave? It's
It
the
is.
original Beast Wars line
Yeah.
in original style packaging. So are you excited? Will you be picking them up? Have you got them all anyway, so you don't need them?
I mean, I've got them all anyway, so I don't need them. And these look like they are based on the 10th anniversary ones that they released in
Right.
2000 and it would have been 2006, I think it was. Yeah, like you know what? Like they're cool. I think this is definitely a nostalgia play. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Can I get on my soapbox for a second?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
for
feel
it.
free.
So I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about like the Beast Wars revival and stuff like that. And basically, it just sums up like the summation that we came to was that they're 10 years too late. In terms of doing this Beast Wars revival. I know why they're doing it. It's the 25th anniversary. And that's great. But basically, like, the way I was looking at it was, oh, and that's not a deluxe toy, by the way. Like,
Just think how many high fives you can give there.
that is literally a one-step change transformer that is selling for 20 quid. Like, literally, it like flip his tail up and the entire thing just opens up.
Fantastic stuff, and I can transform.
Save it for 10 bots, 10 shots.
Yeah, but we were talking about it, and we were saying, like, if you do the maths, right, if you were a kid in the 1980s, right, watching Transformers, the whole revival of Generation 1 sort of came around at the turn of the millennium, and so you would have been in your early 20s. So there would have been like about 15 years between the end of G1 and the year 2000 when Dreamwave came out and all of that, and they started doing all the reissues and stuff like that. But it's really been 25 years since they've done anything properly with Beast Wars. So they're about 10 years out. And I don't know how successful this is going to be.
But the thing is, when you in your 20s, when they did the revival of G1, a lot of people like you and myself were probably still having sex with women. We hadn't encountered marriage life yet.
Yeah.
So we didn't have that spare time. Now when we're in our 40s and depressed and and stuff. I don't know. It's like it feels like we can invest more energy. So maybe they're planning that out.
So sorry, Maylin.
I was going to say, Jamie, do we need some kind of intervention? Because every other comment you've made so far has been about sex in some way.
I was projecting onto you guys. I'm fucking.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like
I'm still trying to get laid, mate. So I'm trying.
You did not too bad. You've got 2 children so far.
I mean, these are all great toys. Don't get me wrong. I think but I just don't see. I don't see little Timmy. In fact, I don't even think it's happening now with Kingdom Line. I don't think kids are walking into the shop to buy Cheeto.
Well, it's a pandemic just now, so you're not going to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I think you might be right, but it'd be interesting to see what
they've done G.I. Joe and they re-releases, and they've done the Transformers, the original G1 releases, didn't they? Like Hot Rod and stuff, didn't they? So they must have sold a substantial amount for them to go dust off the Beast Wars graphics, find that old bitmap image we used and stick it on a bit of cardboard and get out there.
Well, I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? They've got the molds. They would have learned a long time ago not to like scrap the molds and stuff like that. They'll still be worthwhile. They won't have, to manufacture these, it won't have cost them a great deal.
No, Star Wars they're doing as well, and then you've got the Kenner, and this says it's Kenner as well in the bottom right-hand corner. So did Hasbro not do Beast Wars toys?
Well, they did.
No,
But
they
bought Kenner, hadn't they? So they went to Kenner to get fresh ideas, and
right.
where the Beast Wars thing came from.
So if you War for Cybertron Cheetah is not the only Cheetah that's been released in the last 25 years. There has been another Cheetah that was released.
Oh yeah, there was the terrible Generations one.
No, I mean Cyberverse. Cyberverse
as well. Yeah.
Cyberverse for younger children really actually brought in characters from IDW and Beast Wars and brought them together. Again, limited capacity, but Cheetor played quite a big role in that for a while in season 2, I think it was.
Yeah, he did. He did. You're absolutely right. I mean, Cheetor was a bad example. There's been definitely times where they've used Cheetor and stuff like that. But I think, with Kingdom coming up, I will eat my hat if there's more than 5 new characters introduced in that show.
You have you back on your show for that?
Not counting fossilizers.
No, I agree with you.
Saving it for the big broadcast.
But
can we pick the hat?
Look,
can we just look at Rhinox again, transformed? Oh, just so good.
Just because you've just transformed him.
Look at that gold. He's amazing.
It's still a great looking figure even now.
Yeah.
Bloody
But anyway,
do you think they missed a trick in the sense they're not releasing the new Kingdom characters but in vintage packaging?
That'll be the interesting thing. The interesting thing will be which characters are actually part of Kingdom. I mean, we know Dinobot is definitely it. Optimus Primal is absolutely going to be there. Megatron is absolutely going to be there. Like, what's the rest of them? Cheeto, Airazor, Rhinox.
And they've introduced 2 other characters in the comics as well.
Black
which
Arachnia.
you know,
Like, but I just don't see them having all of these molds. Sorry, not molds, rather. I just don't see Kingdom having all of these new characters in
the
it.
Black Arachnia transformation is absolutely fantastic. It's been one of the best figures I've transformed. I mean, I just loved it.
Yeah, that's the standout toy of the... I haven't got Megatron, but for me, Black Arachnia is the standout of that line, definitely so far.
Because when I really like something like that, I'll buy another one, and I've got 2 Black Arachnias, you know, I just, you know...
Well, fingers crossed, they'll just figure out a way to retool that to make tarantulas.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And then the other big breaking news, as well as the sad news, obviously the cancellation of the actual event of TFNation, we also had this, didn't we? So
we did.
Big Broadcast is coming back again.
Yeah, I know. I swore I'd never do another one.
What colour's the hair going to be this year?
The hair is going to stay exactly where it is. Trust me.
Shaven.
So obviously you'll still
never
be putting all
shave
this
the hair.
together.
I've got a massive head.
It doesn't stop some people.
Fuck you, Andy.
Yeah, what I mean, is there anything that you can tell us about the big broadcast for this year that you do know, or is it all still being put together?
Yeah, I mean, we are right at the early stages of putting it together and stuff like that. The only thing that I will say in regards to the big broadcast for this year is just, you know, we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to you know, change too much about what we did because the feedback was excellent and things like that. But be prepared for some surprises. We've got some stuff that we're hopefully cooking, and when it's ready, it'll be pretty exciting. But yeah, it's just a, you know, the only other thing about the big broadcast this year is just hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll be able to spend it in person with some people. You know, you'll be able to go around your mate's house and enjoy it together.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to wait and see. You know, we're still planning as it stands at the moment. It'll still be like a major one-day event with something little on the Friday. But
same weekend. Same weekend.
As it stands at the moment, yes. But well, I don't think there's any reason.
I was just thinking about that. It's almost a year, an anniversary for me since I last saw Paul.
Oh,
Paul
I miss you too.
I know. So I was looking. So this morning I was looking at the hidden footage I recorded in the bedroom when you were sleeping in. And I was just,
I wish I didn't do that now. I didn't realise you could see.
Yeah, I was the tears.
I used that sock all day the next day.
Lucky enough, I had some tissue with me, so I was able to use it. Yeah.
Again, Jamie. Anyway, so the big broadcast, we'll all be looking forward to it again. And I can't remember if I said this on air or off air before, but I know I was lucky enough to watch pretty much all of it last year, even though the wife told me there's no way you're watching that whole weekend. But in the end, she was almost encouraging me in watching it as well. So I really hope we get to see it again. It was fantastic last year. I'm sure it will be great again. We do have third-party news that we need to share, otherwise we'll never get through all this.
I did like how you said that you're not going to change the format much, which lets us down gently for not being a headline this year.
Yeah. That's what he was aiming for there, just before I got in there. So when will we be doing our live panel?
One day.
Right, so this is third-party stuff. Alexis?
This is a joint venture with Kang Toys and Zeta for a Legends scale Predaking. And it is it with Kang Toys version of Dive-Bomb as well. So they're going. It's interesting how they're going with Dive-Bomb first. It looks pretty cool. Clear wings, interesting. So it looks good. You know.
Is it actually going to have clear wings, or is that just because it's the first?
I have no idea. This is the first. This is the prototype. It's the first thing we've seen of it. So joint venture Kang Toys and Zeta, which alludes to the fact that I always believed Kang Toys and Zeta were one. Zeta just releasing a new. Every time they release a new bot, it's a new name. So obviously you had Moon Studios are doing the. Who's the train one?
Raiden.
That's it. Raiden. Yeah. So, and there'll probably be another one as well. And so,
with it being clear plastic, do you think that means it could be quite fragile?
clear plastic can be quite fragile, but it's a prototype at the moment, so depends how what you're going to do with the wings. If they're static wings, then a lot of the there's the is it Cryotech, the Blue Dragon, and then you've got Transmetal 2 Megatron as well from Iron Factory, which have clear plastic wings as well. So there's no issue there. So if it's a static piece which you don't move, don't peg it out, it shouldn't be an issue. And as you can see, the joints where you actually maneuver the wings, they actually are proper plastic there as well. So
always be careful with your bots. That's my advice.
Mech FansToy Poison in full HD color.
So this is Octane, isn't it?
This is Octane.
Yeah, play mode's not great. The other modes look quite good. Very
similar to the original G1 toy, it looks like, actually. Even with the way the wheels and the plane actually at the back. It's very similar to the G1 toy. It's nice you can get the extra mode as well in that one scene. Yeah, the hissy fit.
Bot mode looks good. This would be right up your street, won't it, Paul?
Yeah, I've got my Octane Bros.
Add him to the collection.
Never known anybody who likes Octane.
Oh, I love Octane.
I do.
Yeah, he was the only triple changer I had as a kid, so I think that's part of what it comes from.
I've never been able to like muster any enthusiasm for Octane.
The other thing I liked about him was in the G1 UK comics, there was that story when Prime had been transported to Cybertron, and there's the start of one of the stories where Octane is retelling the story of an attack on the Energon refinery that he was guarding with all the slaves, and he's telling it about how he bravely charged into battle, and you see him running away like a coward, and then he trips over an oil line and basically knocks himself out. But as he tells it, he just gets overpowered by sheer numbers.
I think my issue with Octane has always been the fact that like he stole the limelight from Blitzwing in season 3. Like, you know.
Oh,
it's like
I don't mind
that. Team Octane, that's Team Blitzwing.
Is Octane itself on the periodic table, or is it?
No,
Octane?
It's not an element.
I know it's not an element, is it?
Neither is Hot Rod or Optimus Prime.
Well, I know that. I was just thinking, you've got 2 Octanes. What are 2 Octanes called? So
I thought you were going to say he's an 8 changer.
It's going to turn into the Lexus Lexi.
He doesn't have the same face as the Octane I remember from the comics, though.
And funny enough, the petrol
like the
company in Lego is called Octane.
What did they change his name to a few years ago?
Tankor,
that was right. Oh yeah, because you had the 2 Tankors.
Yeah, we got the 2 Tankors in IDW comics. Yeah. And then this is
Iron Factory.
Samurai Cyclonus, isn't it?
Iron Factory is Samurai.
I'll have to zoom in a bit, Alexis, because the photos you sent me of it were a bit small.
I got a small phone.
That's not what determines your resolution.
Pretty sure it is, man. That's science for you there. Don't question science. I'll school you on that one.
Oh dear, I love that answer.
I'll have to lean closer next time to when I take a picture off the screen.
It looks.
Yeah,
it
when
looks
you're downloading from Google, lean closer. That will help you.
Exactly. So Iron Factory. This is available for pre-order now at your wonderful retailers.
As shown on your Instagram account.
Yes, it's on our Instagram account. Yeah, correct. As shown on our Instagram account. Then we have, and I got the name wrong on this one because I thought it was Tyrant, but it's not. It's Tritant.
You weren't the only person. I noticed quite a few people it automatically people type Tyrant, but it's Tritant.
Tritant. STC, I don't have a clue what that stands for, but this is TFC. So if you remember, they did the wonderful Jungle Commander, and then did the one with which looks like with the giant rocket that's back, the V2 rocket. This is it's like a Duocon 6 changer. So each of the modes, it's weird. Each of the modes actually has 3 separate modes. So you've got 3 separate vehicle modes for each of the individual vehicles. Then you've got robot modes for them all. Then they've got combined vehicle modes, and then you've got combined robot modes, and then you've got combined base modes as well. This thing is an arsenal, and it's going to be the TFC version of Megatron. I believe this is their sort of G.I. Joe crossover. So remember that sort of funk.
Didn't we talk about this last year? Because you had that whole poster thing.
Yeah, they got the camo tank. What's it called? TFC Commander.
Yeah, General Commander.
Yeah,
we talked about this. We talked about Triton last year.
Yeah,
I don't
so
think there's Triton
it's
in it.
now. But yes, it is, but it's now. No, that's not in the comic. This is now available for pre-order. This will be released in August, so you can pre-order it now. It is £170,
So
roughly,
good.
depending on where you buy it from. But look at
Yeah,
all the
from
different modes you
Aldi.
get.
Oh, it does.
No, Lidl.
Lidl. Recommended place.
Down the middle aisle.
A good German supermarket.
The middle of Lidl.
That's it. Third shelf on the left, just next
Right
to
next to the gym clothes and the Paw Patrol books. Anyway.
So I read a funny comment online the other day saying this year's exactly the same as last year, except this year we have toilet roll.
Not for long.
So, and there he was against TFC. Obviously, we flicked through that, but he's the same height as the Junk Commander with his because again with the Junk Commander you can actually have him into that's a combined mode. All that comes off to make a separate base as well if you want it to. So you can have him in a sort of like it's like a mini mode or suit up like Power Extreme mode.
Nice.
Oh,
Everyone remembers those. Then we have Big Firebird who did the Nisi, the controversial Nisi, which they said will not be released. They've teased. I have no idea what this is going to be. It looks like a moon racer, doesn't it? If you're gonna picture the sort of the fembots and the sort of which one it would be, I think this is more like a moon racer. It looks like quite sleek. It looks quite it's a really nice curvy bot. Again, it'll be a complete shell former, but they've teased this as well. So I have no idea. So Capuccinona, that's how I pronounce it. Anyway.
Cappuccinoa.
There you go.
Sounds like a coffee.
So,
I was going to say it does sound exactly like a coffee. It'll be like their version of Chromia. But anyway.
There we go. And then also you've got, and you've interesting, you've actually got it looks like they've got two different modes here. So this is Iron Factory's version of Scourge. I can't remember what they call him now, like a Deathbringer or something like that. So it's got this mode. If you flick to the next photograph, he looks like he changes. It's like a different face, different face sculpt. And again, a different adaptation of the weapons as well, and the way that the wings are portrayed. He's still got the Kiss shoes.
Like that Autobot version. Remember, there was an Autobot that used the same mold as Scourge.
Devcon.
Yeah.
Devcon, the bounty hunter. Devcon.
Yeah.
Those wings remind me an awful lot of IDW Thunderwing.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, especially the bits at the back of the wings.
The
shoulders.
He'll be quite small though, so he will be normal. He'll be shorter than Cyclonus.
Can I ask a question, Alexis? What is? I mean, I'm presuming that the Galvatron that I just kind of sneak peeked a moment ago is from the same company. What's with the feet?
They're all in the same band.
You got turned toe shoe thing going on.
It's just
shoes.
You
got the same thing going on.
No, that's it. It's just their look.
That looks very much like the IDW Galvatron that we saw.
So Iron Factory do IDW. So like MMC is MP scale, IDW is Legend scale.
MMC
IDW.
is Chug scale.
G Creation do IDW MP scale, don't they?
They're all MPs. They're all MPs.
MMC, aren't they?
MMC.
Just mute Jamie.
It's Chug scale.
Anyway, it looks quite nice for what it is.
It looks good. I mean, obviously now they've released Darius, so you've got the New Age Darius, which I think dwarfs it. But I think obviously the Scourge is interesting.
With the Scottish singer Darius.
Every time you say they released Darius, I'm wondering what he did.
We'll get colourblind. Anyway, so the other one you've got is the FansToys version, which is pretty weak, to be honest. So as a Scourge, so it's okay, but I think I've ordered the Iron Factory, so I think it'd be a better fit. This is a re-release. It's available for pre-order now, about £80. This is you mentioned G Creations. They have released their IDW. It's called. They've done their black version. They've called it again. So it's like an ultra crisp black version with this lovely blast effect of IDW Megatron in his stealth bomber mode. I've got one photograph of this because it's such a good toy. And 80 quid isn't a lot for an MP bot as well. And he has light up eyes and light up effects as well, which is pretty cool.
It's £80.
£80.
Wow.
Just did some quick research there for you. In Spotlight Galvatron, he does have the spiky feet.
Yeah, I knew I'd seen them before on Galvatron. I didn't remember seeing them on like a version of Scourge, but I may have missed that. But he definitely had them in the version of Galvatron, and that same look with the crown as well. I mean, the whole thing. It definitely evokes that.
Yeah.
And then we had now, which company is this?
This is I believe it's Armada, is it? Armada Megatron?
Oh, I know it. Yeah, it's Armada Megatron. I was just wondering who made it.
Fans Hobby. FansToy Megatron.
Not that
So he comes with
mode.
so he comes with his little Omnibot, Duracon, Minicon. That's the word. Comes with a little Minicon there as well. So
Was his Minicon Leader 1? I think was he called Leader 1, the Armada Megatron Minicon? Because they were trying to keep
he looks like Beachcomber and a little tank.
Yeah, they were trying to keep the keep the name so that they could still keep using it, because obviously Leader 1 they own the GoBot line and everything, or at least elements of the GoBot line.
He's gonna be a big bot though. This guy's probably going to be the same size as, if you remember, their Double Evil, which was the what's his name? Overlord. Their Overlord. It's still like 15 inches tall. I think this thing's going to be about the same size, but this is a single bot as well. So this thing's going to be massive. So if you imagine, this thing's going to be pretty much the same size as Zeta Unicron in height.
Wow. Big lad. Although
might be bigger if you've got shoulders. Those.
Just out of curiosity, and I know when's that Megatron coming out? The one we were just looking at?
The IDW one.
The IDW one, yeah.
I think it's coming out in April. It's been released in April again. It's a re-release.
So it's a re-release, is it?
So yes, this is their black version. So it's such a good thing. I thought putting it. It's got you get the blast effect, you get a new paint job on it, and 80 quid's not a massive amount. So
no,
it'd be nice if they did
I wouldn't normally go for third party, but I just have a particular love for that version of Megatron.
It does also come with a flight stand as well. So you get the flight stand and the blast effect. If you take those two combined, if you buy those things separately, you're normally looking at about £5 to £10 for the blast effect, £10 to £15 for the flight stand as well, and then you get the light up effects as well. It's a lot of bot for not a lot. So they've done a good job of obviously like keeping the cost down to release it as well. So because I'm pretty sure I paid a little bit more even for the original mold, but it's a popular mold. No one else has done that one yet either. So.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's pretty cool. Because obviously, just to throw it out there, it's issue 18 when he makes his debut in that body. I'm in that comic.
Are you?
Yeah.
I was not aware of this.
Yeah, I'm protesting Transformers.
Of course, makes total sense. How did that come about then?
Oh, it just so happened that, well, at the time that series was being rolled out, I was doing the Underbase podcast where we were reviewing Transformers comics, and obviously we were just friends with Alex Milne, and next thing we know, he's just like, "Oh, I've stuck his in a comic."
Yeah.
And apparently, then, from what I understand, he got his wrist slapped. He did it again.
Oh, there you go. I like that story. That's cool.
So, yeah.
Very nice.
And then, of course, the most important news of the week, which Paul insisted I shared.
What is this?
This is winner, chicken dinner. Alexis, I can tell the story because it was last night, wasn't it? Me and Jamie died towards the end, which left Alexis against a couple of pro players on Fortnite. And I won't lie, me and Jamie didn't have much hope that Alexis would persevere and destroy the enemy. And he did. He killed them all and got the victory royale. So
quite intense. It was quite intense, actually. Again,
we were emotional. We stopped, didn't we, for 5 minutes?
You guys got sniped out, and it was I had no health, and I was sitting behind this rock, and I crawled up when they took the last team out. And there was 2 of them against me, and they built this massive structure. And you can hear them rumbling around, but they weren't connected, were they? So
well, they could just play with you, and it was their mistake.
There was one other bit of news which somehow I missed when I went through all the photos before. I'm not quite sure how. So I think, Paul, you had shared this, and I've seen it shared since on Facebook in some of the groups. So I thought you might want to quickly explain.
Yeah, it was just that MechFans, that's obviously not what they've just put a picture up, but they're going to start work on their Stunticons. So we've already seen that New Age and Magic Square are both doing it. They're about 2 robots deep. MechFans Toys, and we just don't know whether MechFans Toys has been so good for a Chinese company in the last year that they haven't been ripping off designs from other companies. They've been doing their own designs. So it's going to be quite interesting to see whether they just blatantly rip off Magic Square or New Age. Fingers crossed they don't, because we've been really impressed with their designs recently. When they actually do it, when they do the work, you're quite good, MFT. You're actually quite a good company.
So Magic Square.
So you copy other people's homework.
Magic Square is already out. New Age isn't out yet. The StunCons, are they? They're not.
No, they're coming out. They've been previewed.
Yeah.
Magic Square's landed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. I got the Magic
So
Square
maybe you
ones.
can educate me a little bit here, because I love the StunCons. The StunCons are like my favorite combiner group of all time, and I really want like a masterpiece version of the StunCons. But obviously, I missed out on whatever the last one was, which looked really nice.
DX9.
So is this like masterpiece scale, or is this generation scale? Or...
This is legend scale, so it's about the same
right.
size as the original G1 toys.
Okay.
10 inches tall.
Okay.
If you like the StunCons, you've got so many options, haven't you? In the third party, they just never stop producing them.
No, they never do, and that's kind of the problem. Is like I feel like I bought the many years ago. I bought the Fans Project StunCons, and I hate them because I just know they're going to break. They're just going to shatter. Like everything is so tight and like, and so like I combined them into Menasor and I just left them. But I'd really like a set that I can just play with. You know what I mean? That like.
Do you want G1? Do you want Toy, Toon, or IDW?
Well, that's the problem. You can't. I can't think. Like, there's so many.
Or you get G2 now as well. They do G2 as well.
Oh, I wasn't bothered about G2, but because I just like the original colors. But yeah,
that's the one I've got. That's the DX9 one over that.
Why don't you do something you've never done before, Alexis, and go and get it?
Nah, it's too hard.
I think that's the one. I think that's the one that I keep seeing, the DX9 one, because that one looked really nice. But yeah, I don't know.
I was thinking about it.
I just as much as I'm not into third party, it's just like I would I keep looking over at the Combiner War StunCons, and I just.
If you get the DX9 one, Dave, the DX9 one is the cheaper of the MP ones. Get the there's a third party. You can get a face. So I've got the extra transports ones in front of it because I haven't combined those yet. So I hear a lot of horror stories about the extra transports going wrong as they do. DX9 one is solid. If you want something that's solid, DX9 is playable and solid. It'd be very hard to break a DX9 one. I'll be honest. The fans toys ones, again, good quality, but the DX9 is very playable.
Did I say fans toys?
No, you didn't.
Fans Project.
You said Fans Project. You did say Fans Project.
No. So Fans Toys have done 3 of them so far. Four. Sorry. So your Fans Toys have done them. So Fans
not 4 different molds, 4 robots.
4 to 5. 4 to 5.
4 out of 5.
X Transports have done all of them, and then DX9 has done all of them. You can get a different face for DX9 as well, which is quite interesting. So you get 3 MP versions of them if you want, and then obviously you've got the transformation. Is it Infinite Transformation? They've done the IDW one, which is a bit shorter. It's like a chug cell. So the MP ones are all about 20 inches, and then the DX9, the Infinite Transformation one is 15 inches, and they do a metallic version of those as well.
Right. Okay. Next week we do all the Menasors which have ever lived in the world. Right. More important than that is now time to really get to the news. And obviously we had TFN obviously not going ahead, so just really important that we focus on this now, and it is now time for Fans Toys Innuendo. So in this episode of Fans Toys Innuendo, we plagiarized the poor Facebook group Fans Toys, where they often get excited about their toys. I put an image in like this band, and you have to guess who. What is the Transformer?
Are we saying who's who here because there's 5 of us and 5 of them?
I don't know.
How young Robbie looks. Robbie's like 8
looks
there,
like
maybe
12.
9.
I'm waiting for the meme on this.
The guy at the bottom right looks like I've done some years.
I don't know.
Is that Howard? Is that Howard? So you got Mark?
No, we're not asking
Robbie,
you to name
Gary,
them.
No, we don't need to name them, Alexis. You're not proving
his last
anything.
one? His last one, Derek?
I don't want to see your poster collection.
I never realized that Ivan Drago was in a boy band.
He was great. Just before he did He-Man.
This is Rocky 3.5.
Alexis, you're definitely Mark Owen. Look at Mark Owen in the middle. He's got one hand on the right guy. He's got the white top on. That's a secure hand. But the hand on his left hand is like playing with his Mark Howard, just giving a little tickle on his shoulder.
The guy with the dungarees on is trying to look. He's trying to look mean and moody, but he's pulling the same face Lucas pulls when I've just told him off or something. It's just not working. Anyway, I feel we're getting too deep into this discussion. Bad Boys.
Look hard,
you're going to
then he forgot it was 1992.
Is it police-related Transformers?
Police? No, it's not.
It's fans
So
toys,
it's
right?
not Power Jazz then.
Bad
The
Boys.
Stunticon.
Bad
Is it? Did you say is it Fans Toys? When
It is fans toys.
every week
Is
it's
it
Fans Toys
Fans
Innuendo,
I have no idea. I have no idea
and
what
it's
it
always
just doesn't
been
make
Fans Toys.
any
Oh,
sense.
it's every week.
Isn't that classic comic cover with Jazz? What you gonna do when Bad Boys come for you or something?
No, good guess. No.
Is it
Stunticon?
What do they look like now? What do they look like now? Do they look the same or do they look different?
What? Who
Do
take
they look the
that?
same or do they look
Or
different?
Sorry,
Do they
Will
look like
Smith
that?
and Martin Lawrence?
Does Mark Owen still have a bandana?
Possibly.
I don't know.
I don't follow
talk
him
to
all the
anymore.
time.
Let me just check my Twitter account.
They've changed, haven't they? They're the same band now. They split apart. They broke, and they're back
Right.
together.
We should give Dave.
So
the
think of a
guess here.
Transformer.
We should give
Think of a Transformers, maybe 3 that used to be together. They split apart and broke, maybe died, and then they came back together, renewed.
Oh,
You mean Cyclonus
Reflector.
and
What did Jamie just say?
Oh, well done, Jay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jamie.
Fansoy Spotter. Fansoy Spotter.
He didn't say that, did he? He said,
No.
"For fuck."
you factor.
He said Cyclonus, Scourge, and what is it? Galvatron. I assume.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Cyclonus and Scourge and Galvatron. Well done, Jamie.
Nice one. Even though one of those is
Incredible.
one of those is strand spots, but well done.
And join us next week on FansToys Innuendo. We'll be discovering who NSYNC turn into.
Oh, you'll never get this time back, Dave.
You'll never get this time. 3. No, I don't need to do that. It's going fine.
Oh,
Right. On to pickups. Right. Alexis, do you want to go first? Do you want to
I don't mind going first. I might need to just sort my screen out 'cause I've got a couple of pictures to share of one thing. So just want to do a couple of pictures. But very quickly, I've got a couple of Beast Wars bots, not out the box yet, but I've got Transmetal 1, Prime, and Cheetor from Transart. So this is Transart 2 and 3. The first one they did was, do you remember that big beast creature, the sort of mutant, which they did? They did that, the MP version of that, which is really, I didn't like it. So, but these get really
one with
good
the scary
reviews.
face.
Yeah, the one that screamed. So it's superpower. I got these. I got drawn in. I saw. Yeah, transmutate. That's it. I got drawn in by Ben's reviews from Ben's Collectibles, and I was like, oh fuck it, because I got the big primal the other day, the Ultimate Optimus. So I thought it'd be quite cool. What I want to try and do with my collection, I'm trying to adjust it so you can see like I've got the DJD up. I can't point today up there, and then just to the left of that, I'm not gonna get them. I've got Beast Wars up there and their little poses and stuff. I'm trying. I want to have like sort of almost like
Pickups. It's pickups, not what your
focus,
future of your collection
whatever
is.
focus points.
Just tell us what you got this week. That's all you got to do.
All right. Okay.
Focus.
Got that.
Focus.
What else I get? Let me. I got IDW Blur, which I'm going to share a couple of photographs about. Share this here.
Who's that by?
Share. Let me share
Or should I
portion.
not ask you questions while you're concentrating on one thing?
SHX. So this. Let me move across it a little bit. So do you remember that hot rod I got?
Yeah.
Which was like the SXS. So they only did 2 toys because they did this one first, which is it's actually a really nice toy.
Looks nice.
And it's chug scale. But again, all IDW toys are generally chug scale.
Actual chug, I like to see.
And then they did the hot rod, but because I went up against MNC at the same time, it didn't really sell, so they didn't really win. But I thought I really like the Blur Spotlight. So this is where Prime sort of having a go at Blur and sort of telling him like, you know, you're the only one that can get through. You've got a talent, use it. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Alexis, that's a really good recreation of that
So,
scene. I
what-
love that scene in the
Great phones.
in the
What
in the,
version of
comic
Blur
book.
is that?
SXS.
He'll message you afterwards, Jamie.
I'll message
he'll
you
give
back.
you all the deets.
Yeah.
But you can buy them second hand for about 40 quid. So, but yeah, I thought I loved, he's got a really cool running pose. So I thought I'd
great
just try
photos, Alexis. Really good.
Yeah,
try and capture.
They've worked really well.
So I've got a couple of MP bots in there, a couple of chug bots in there as well.
I
thought
love
I'd
that
share
scene
that.
in the comic book as well, Alexis. That's brilliant recreation.
And then I got Magic Square Bumblebee, and this is him next to New Age. And I prefer the New Age car mode. He's slightly smaller in car mode. New Age on the left there, and then Magic Square on the right. He's not quite as tight as well. You can see there's like pounds a little bit. He's just hard to get into the right place. There, so and then he's transformed. So he's a little bit taller.
Why is he look so derpy? His mouth.
Much more integrated. So even like you've got to push out a couple of pounds on his leg to fill out his legs. He's not quite as good as the New Age one, I don't think. I think the plastic's not quite there. But he's an okay bot. He's decent. I thought I just can put him next to Scale there, next to Prime as well. And then in case people want to see him next to the bots. Other bots, you've got New Age on the left, Iron Faction middle, Magic Square on the right again, and it's Magic Square Prime. So you can see the size difference there. So either one's good. They're about the same price, to be honest. And I thought it'd be quite cool to take him next to the MP bots, because again, you got MP, the first Bumblebee on the left-hand side there, and then they released a new one on the right. And to be honest, the feet on this Bumblebee as well was also a little bit annoying. So yeah, he's a decent little bot, but it just doesn't quite. It was hard. It just didn't quite peg him properly on the bottom. So he comes with rubber tires as well, though. So unlike the New Age, which is fake tires, this guy actually does properly roll if you get him right. So again, 25 quid. So he's decent. It's just, you look at that, right, and it's like, why can't Masterpiece get it right? It's like, it's not hard to get it right. What the hell did you do?
That's bro.
There we go. And I've got a couple of other bits and pieces like, Jetfire and what are those bots that you got from America J, the Micromasters, which are the homage to Mask. I've got those as well. So they came. I've forgotten about them. They came from Amazon US. So I put those away for my little boy. Oh, I also got some blast effects. So I thought I'd just show this quickly because I really like this. I put blast effects for FansToy Hoodlum, so you can look like he's pew 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 shooting up against the space shuttle. And then I've also got one for Hot Rod. So Rodemus, sorry, which is him pulling apart the Matrix. So I'll show a picture of that next week. It's like when he's actually released the Matrix. So as I want to create like little centerpieces in my collection, and so I have like a bot for while doing that, and then because I've got multiple molds of Hot Rod because I really like the character. So and then I'll move them around and shuffle them around. So I'm gonna do little bits as well. So I think I'll probably do a collection update for the channel in a few weeks. But that's me.
Awesome sauce. Brilliant. Cool. Can I ask our guest, did you get any pickups this week, sir?
No, I didn't, because Yodel hasn't delivered them yet.
Yodel.
Damn you, Yodel.
You could just lie because you're not on every single week.
They'll arrive in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, I have bought some stuff since I was last on, but,
It's not being an absence of Transformers.
He only buys things when he's coming
like
on the
Robbie
show.
Williams about to take that.
Oh, Dave, that makes total sense about what you said about coming on. Whenever you can, because every time you come on, you've got an excuse to buy something new.
I know. That's it. I know, and I've bought it, but it's just not arriving till Monday. Boo hiss.
Damn it.
Yeah, no. I think the last thing that I actually did buy was the first wave of Kingdom stuff, the Beast Wars stuff. So that was a while ago. So.
No, cool. Right, we'll go to, because I kind of want Andy last, I think. So, Jamie, how's the world treated you this week in Transformers pickups?
Well, my de facto chug, Megatron, I got the gun piece, which he was missing. So I bought this figure second hand for like £40, but he was missing the gun piece. But I wrote to Mastermind Creations, told them that I bought this second hand, and was there any chance they could send me the gun barrel piece there? And they did. And that was just absolutely awesome, and I was really delighted by that.
Completely for free.
No, I paid the postage. You know, so so it cost something like £5 to get it sent over from China and stuff like that. And yeah, used the PayPal stuff with them, and it was just fantastic. You know, I think it's because obviously they're still making it in their factories because they re-released this guy, so it was something they could easily do. You know, in that situation in time as well. But I was delighted that they did that for me. You know, and I told them, you know, it was second hand and stuff like that. So it was great. And I gave them the sub story. Like, I really would like to complete the Autobot Megatron. And yeah, so that was great. And I do like the Mastermind creations, you know, I do think they're like de facto chugs, you know, the chugs really, they fit in well. Switch off my camera a second. Fix it. I also got some more Sharkticons. I picked them up from Transformer UK sales, so that was good.
Just out of curiosity, how many Sharkticons are you currently up to?
I reckon 8.
Oh, yeah. No, that's good.
Army building.
I've got 12 now. There'll be 12 in total.
12.
Yeah,
I think that's a good number of Sharkticons to have. Yeah.
yeah.
Get him in the pit.
Also got the second issue of Beast Wars, the Transformers comic. The new sort of release 25th anniversary, which they're always advertising on the back. First issue, fantastic issue. Really good storyline. It's going into the action, unlike the other Transformer main line, which is, you know, almost makes you want to go and, you know, fall asleep. It's that depressing. But this stuff, action's good. I'm not such a fan of the artwork, but saying that, the artwork's good in telling what's happening because, as I said, I've really enjoyed the story, so it's obviously doing the job. And I'm looking forward to reading issue 2. You know, I've already been told by some people, Alofire, he said that the action even continues more, you know, so the story is just building up. So that's good for anyone who wants to be reading a comic which actually has action in it from the start. And apart from that, apart from MMC Megatron and all that, I think that's me.
Oh, right, I'll go next.
Was that one of the new characters, Jay, on the front of the comic?
Yeah, they've brought in 2 new characters. They've brought in a character for the Maximals, and they've brought in a character from the sort of Predacons. So, you know, one's female, I think, and the other one's a male character.
Cool.
Any more questions for Jamie, Alexis?
I'll wait till you start. I always wait till the end. I wait till the end.
No, you wait till I spotlight myself.
In his defense, he did wait till the end. Unfortunately, he did do it.
How do I raise a hand?
Let me raise.
Let me go. I'll raise my hand.
This is weird. You asking for... Yes, Alexis, what's wrong?
Oh, can I go to the toilet?
Yep.
I let you go, am I joking?
You're not. Right. 3, 2, 1. Right, so this week I got this is a CX750 power supply Corsair CX series. Obviously you knew I had the 370 series, which this replace. So much more power going into the new GPU. New GPU, did I say? Yes, I did. I've got the GeForce GTX 1650, which will carry all my graphic card dreams to where I want them to go. So yeah, exciting week for my PC, which is next to me. This is
I used to get really excited about graphics cards because the box always used to look really cool, the art, and then you used to get disappointed when it looks inside.
That's right, they did in the 90s. They don't anymore. Some Transformers over there. It's my PC. We can go inside it.
Who wants to see Transformers on the show, like they say?
Well, this is where the Transformers the show comes from. That very PC right there makes
rather see your red light district computer.
Yep, for Arsenal. So the best
you
team
already
in the
know
world.
from last week that Paul doesn't really collect Transformers anymore. He told us.
I did buy some Transformers this week, but, which I bought off Alexis, I think today or yesterday. So next week I will have Transformers. I didn't even get any Black Series this week, so good week. Good week for PC, bad week for Star Wars and Transformers. Right, over to you.
Isn't every week a bad week for Star Wars at this point?
Yeah, it kind of is. Just doesn't stop, does it? Kara, what? whatever her name is just being really rude. Someone else is doing something bad. Yeah, well, I feel sad now. It's not a bad week for Transformers for Star Wars toys. I'm quite impressed with the Black Series toys. They bring a smile to my face. Right. There you go, Andy. You are spotlighted.
Jason Statham in full effect.
So, yeah, I'll start with probably the surprising one, because I didn't know about this till it arrived. So Claire spotted this from Robot Recruits. So this is Kingdom Inferno, and she knew I didn't have it, and she spotted it and thought, oh, that looks quite nice. I'll just buy it for him. And she didn't bother telling me, so I just got a box turned up during the week. And he's lovely. So I did take a few photos just to quickly do a review of him.
I think Claire sets the standard for wife points, doesn't she? She's always buying new Transformers.
She does very, very well. I certainly wouldn't complain.
But you can complain.
And it's strange because she knows a little bit about it sometimes, but yet then she'll still go out and buy stuff. So
she's an enabler.
If mine watched this show, I would not be allowed to be on this show anymore because she see actually what I buy. She doesn't know what I buy.
Oh, we know that. We know that. Some would destroy you, especially with the prices. But anyway, so yes, very cheap, very reasonable. So there he is, only after he turned up in his lovely packaging. The artwork on the packaging, I really like. You know, it's kind of how I imagine Inferno and how I remember him from the comics, because he was supposed to be that kind of bot that wanted to, well, he was there to try and save lives and help and things like that. He always wanted to charge into battle. I think, Jamie, what was that comment you made the other day when I posted about receiving him? You think of him as
I think of him as a wrecker. And I spoke to Simon Foreman, and Simon Foreman said, is he a wrecker? And he went, no. And I went, what do you know, you creative genius behind the records? He is a wrecker, you're wrong. You know,
did he back down after that and say yes?
Of course he did. Everybody does.
I hit him with the tears next. There was all of it.
Every strategy.
Is this one of those Transformers that the G1 toy was really good? Like Scorponok, and the most recent toys look awesome as well.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
opposite to 8-Face.
The packaging is just the packaging. Siege 8-Face is awesome, obviously, but you get him out. He's in his lovely, now slightly more friendly to the environment packaging. Comes with instructions, but we don't need those. We followed the school.
This just looks like a horrendous murder scene that we've just stumbled across.
The tools are on the right.
Yeah. Now on Transformers Hostel.
There you go. This is his accessories, where I thought they'd actually be on him, but they're just there strapped in. And you get his rifle. You get the little kind of hose thing that goes next to his head in robot mode, the hose on the end of his arm, and then 2 hoses to attach to his legs.
And they've added the wings as well.
Yeah, the wings fold back when you transform him. And the transformation, I'll mention straight away, because people who haven't got him, who did get grapple, might be wondering. They've changed the pegs on the legs that tab into then obviously the base of the crane, the ladder section. So obviously Jamie highlighted many months ago about the problem where you can get them snapping, and how they needed to be either filed down or you needed to adjust it slightly to avoid that. Lots of people unfortunately suffered breakages. I don't think you will with him. They've changed the actual tabs themselves, and they've changed the size of them and the holes as well. And I haven't had any problems when I've transformed him so far. You know, I don't think we're gonna. I think they've
10 shots. This time I'll do it.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a very easy transformer to transform. He looks good, pretty much from all angles. I mean, it is obviously just a slight remold of Grapple, but the
very similar to Grapple, isn't he?
Do work
almost identical.
But it's the little things like the wings, the head sculpt as well, which really sets him apart. Just like Grapple, very poseable, very solid.
I like how you've actually got his legs are filled out completely. Because I know on a lot of bots they did skimp on that sort of thing.
Yeah,
and he they're getting better. And it's obviously they've learned as well. They're evolving with their.
I think it's more of a coincidence to do with the transformation sometimes, rather than planning.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a deliberate move on Hasbro's part, because if they've got to save money somewhere, they will save money somewhere, and we'll get those gaps that we get. But I think, like Jamie just said, with the transformation and the way it works, it just happens that you don't really have that much of a problem with him. And he looks very good. So there he is with Red Alert, and with the big man OP. He scales nicely with him.
The Netflix Optimus Prime.
Yes, that's the.
Oh, he looks much better than.
That's the Netflix version, which
I
mean, I remember Jamie saying, because I didn't have the Earthrise version, and I remember Jamie showing off his Netflix Prime and straight away saying about the color scheme, and he's exactly right. Something about it just pops more for me. It's more interesting.
That's it.
It's just very much. It's very much more like toy accurate, isn't it? Really, like to the Generation 1 toy, that darker blue.
That's it. Maybe that is what it is, and the eyes as well. I mean, the eyes just kind of like they just look better. Everything about it, to me anyway, looks better.
You just see through you, don't they? It's like he's on.
They see straight to my soul, Jane.
Yeah.
And then next to leader class double dealer, because I always have to try and sneak him into as many of the photo shoots as I possibly can.
He's a right boy.
He is, but he's a lovely boy. At least on mine is anyway. I know some people have had problems with him. And then transformation went really, really smoothly. No problems. Didn't need the instructions. It's kind of exactly what you'd expect it to be. Like I said before, no problems with the tabs. Tabbed in all very well. You know, it's grapple as a fire truck, but it works and it looks good. There's storage for his gun and all of his accessories. Tabs in nicely at the back with no problems. The ladder is extendable, and obviously you can adjust the hose up at the top. And yeah, he's just really nice looking. The only problem I had on mine, which is only a minor thing, and I figured out it was just me being clumsy, was I couldn't get that arm to tab in, but a slight bit of readjustment and wiggling with it, and I managed to get it in easily, and it's popped on. I think I just had the arm at slightly the wrong angle.
If you there he is.
Sorry, go on. I was lacking time. And any bots in car mode to transform. So I quickly grabbed 2003 Happy Meal Red Alert. Nice. Just for a quick comparison there.
I think that's the comparison everyone was asking for.
Exactly. And of course, there he is next to Tombstone, so you can see him next to a Rock Lord. Because again, that's the comparison. Everybody's. I don't have a cat because my dog would eat the cat. So the dog's far too big. He'd eat Inferno, to be fair.
And now your neighbours don't have cats either.
I tell you what, if they come in our garden, they won't, because he doesn't like them. I don't know where he's got it from, but he just all of a sudden has decided he doesn't like them. And my dog weighs nearly 8.5 stone, so you know, cats don't piss him off.
Great photo.
And there he is. I really like that photo. Just him next to Red Alert, obviously the lads together. But I just think Inferno looks really good there, and you can see with the head sculpts with that little bit of extra paint and detailing that we didn't really get with Grapple, it just makes it stand out.
Yeah.
But he is lovely. He's really nice. So if you're on the fence about getting him, I'd definitely get him bought. He's another fantastic figure from this line.
I'm just looking at it now and I'm thinking to myself, it's time for an Earth version Red Alert, really, isn't it?
Is he on the...
We do need one. We do.
As I say, is Inferno on the Pulse?
He's up for pre-order.
Pre-order, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
not that I haven't pre-ordered them.
Andy, do you want to give a CVG score or do you want to give a Mean Machine score? So CVG score is a percentage of 100%, or a Mean Machine score would be out of 10.
Haulers.
I'm gonna go Mean Machine because I just like the name better and I like the film.
Sega.
You were in it. You were in it.
But just keep riding that horse. I'm sorry, I'm just slightly distracted. I could hear my lads have a later night on a Friday. I could hear them arguing about something in the other room, and I was trying to decide whether I have to intervene or just let them kill each other.
I'd do that.
I'd give it honestly.
What would you say?
9 out of 10 because it's as close to being perfect and 10 out of 10 as I could think you could get. But I've not personally handled the Masterpiece Inferno, so I don't know how good it is in comparison to that.
The fact that you're
really
saying that would make me say you should give it a 10 out of 10 because it's a chug and you can.
I'll give it 10 out of 10 because
no, it's 9 out of 10.
Does he have ratchets?
Grapple was amazing. I had Grapple. Grapple was brilliant.
Does he have ratchets in his legs and arms or anything like
that? Yeah, it's ratcheted. I think. Is it? No, it's not. It's just friction. Mine's really sturdy. Really sturdy. So he was kind of the main Transformers related one. I did get another one which is still Transformers related because they did have a crossover. So I've been looking for one of these for a very long time, and I got offered one at what is a really reasonable price, and it was this. Now,
Bloody
for the
hell.
uninitiated, this is a Visionaries vehicle, Transformers Visionaries crossover, so that's why I'm linking it. And it's a character called Mordred who's sat in the front, and this is called the Skyclaw. And I wanted one of these when I was a kid, and I've bored most people to tears about how much I like Visionaries on here before. And it came up last weekend, completely out the blue, for what was the cheapest price I've ever seen one going for in
How
good
much?
condition. It was cheap enough. Claire will be watching. Anyway, it was a reasonably priced thing, and far cheaper than what I've seen in other places.
If
would
you
possibly
see
want to
another summer price, tell me. Andy,
I
and I'll
will.
buy
I
it.
will drop you. Like, I'll be honest, JB. The excitement got to me completely, and I just kind of, dived on it. But the Darkstorm I've had since I was a kid. He's the main leader of the Darkling Lords of the Bad Guys, and Mordred is his lackey, his cowardly lackey who just licks
Turns
his
into a
boots.
spider.
I remember him. Yeah.
And yeah, I just love it, and I was really happy. And Claire's rolling her eyes at the thought, because she knows that might mean I start slowly to collect
Just
something
wait till you
else.
start to
My brother had him. Peter.
Andy, can you fit any of the figures into the wings?
Not well. I mean, you could try. If you're a kid, you could try just by jamming one in there, but they're not meant to. The wings do come in and out.
close up,
They are
don't
on a
they?
slider.
And the front bit
do they-
closes up.
They're hollow inside.
I was
But
going to say, can we
idea
see it
is you've
closed
got
up?
You've got the driver Mordred, and then you've got one that can man this little gun at the back. And
No,
then you
the
have a
only
leaf
reason
that closes it up.
I ask
Holograms.
is just because there's, like, in the show they stick people in there and they turn them old.
Oh, that's
yeah.
yes. You're thinking of the Dagger Assault vehicle.
Oh, is that
which
a
was
different vehicle? Is it?
Yeah, that was the biggest vehicle you could get in the toilet. They only had one wave of these toys, and that's the weird thing. So there was only like 12 figures total and 4 vehicles. That's considered one of the small vehicles, and the Dagger Assault is a massive bugger that's a nightmare to find. Costs.
Does it have holograms on the wings as well? I saw that.
It has holograms on
chest
the
of
wings.
Raiders.
I'm not sure how well they will pick up on the camera. Unfortunately, they are there. And
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, other one. Turn it around, please.
So dragon, and I think it's some kind of eagle or hawk.
Yeah.
I remember from the show. Oh, my reflection. I'm trying to remember from the show, but that's the thing. You talk about a cartoon that had 13 episodes and like 12 actual figures in it. So it's hard to collect in some ways because there wasn't a lot of them. But then I keep hearing these things about how apparently there's cases of these toys that never got sold that somebody finds in a warehouse somewhere, and they're all mint in sealed box, never opened. And so who knows? Maybe one day I'll be able to get one of them. And then the last thing I got, because I know this has gone on for a while, was a crap Transformer. And I know how much everybody loves the crap Transformers. So this one was sent to me by Liam. And the only hint he gave me was a line, which I can't remember off the top of my head now, which was a quote from Star Wars. And I thought to myself, as soon as he said it, I can't remember the line now, but it's meant by this. And that's the thing. It is a Star Wars crossover Transformer, and it is General Grievous in Star Wars Transformer form. And it comes in parts. I don't know if it's supposed to, but it comes in parts. I was messing around with him, having received him yesterday, trying to put him back together, and I cannot get 2 of the parts to go back on. They just won't clip on. And my memory of Star Wars crossover Transformers is that they were terrible, and I hated almost every one I ever bought, so I stopped buying them. It's General Grievous though, and he's pretty cool. So there he is, and it comes with a couple of extra bits. My son Lucas has already spotted that it comes with 2 lightsabers. There we are. It comes with 2 lightsabers, which he thinks he might be able to steal for his Black Series Star Wars figures. I think he's got Kit Fisto so far, but he wants to buy some more. And then a rifle, and then these other parts that make up the wheel. And I cannot get these things to attach again, so I can't transform it, even if I wanted to, which I don't, because this is terrible. And I thank Liam for it, because
brilliant.
He sent me a message saying he was really disappointed with obviously how happy I seemed with CJ Place.
Why would you be happy with CJ?
He wanted to make sure he sent me something that I'd really dislike. and I do.
Unicorn, you do.
Well done, Liam.
It's
hate
it's
that.
it's a beauty. If anybody's looking to pick one of these up, don't.
I think FansToys Innuendo and Liam, they're kind of pushing for my favorite section of the show. Talking of sections of the show, we've got a new one.
Here we go.
A new section of the show. So we've rolled out a collector's corner. So we're gonna each week we have a look at someone's collection, because I like showing off my collection. Other people do. So it'll be from the community. And the first one we got was from Russell, Toys Are Russ. So if you go onto YouTube, search for Toys Are Russ, he's there. He's got the entire G1 collection, pretty much all boxed. He's pretty much got all the Mexican collection. He's got all the different doubles. He's got the Japanese. It's an insane collection that he has, but it's amazing. He's such a cool guy. So I'm going to roll the clip, and it's over to Russell in the interview. Hello and welcome to a new section of the show where we're going to be looking at people's passions about Transformers and their collections. And I'm really pleased to welcome to our first ever episode is Russ. Hello, Russ.
Hi, nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you again, sir. Thank you for coming on. So you've got your own channel, which is Toys Are Russ, and what we'll do is we'll start with some questions specifically about your collection, first of all. So my first question for you was, just tell us about your journey. How did it start? Did it start when you were young? How did it get back into collecting? I'd love to know.
Oh, I was one of them really lucky kids way back in 1984. So I was 5 for the Christmas of 84. So I've had two sort of collecting phases. Obviously, the one where I was a child. So, of course, you get the toys when you're a kid. And I told the story in one of Rudy's video that my mum, bless her heart, she travelled a whole day just to get me Optimus Prime for Christmas 1984. Way back, again, you're from the UK, so you'll be aware of the Yellow Pages being like this thick and all this stuff. She'd exhausted everywhere in Telford, in Shropshire, in Coventry, in Birmingham, and she found one in Sheffield. So she did like a 2.5, 3 hour drive north, picked it up, and then come back and she tells me that now to this day. So that's such a nice thing, you know. And yeah, I think as a kid, and again, I funny enough, I said this a bit on Patriot the other day, the fact that you've got robots and cars, robots and dinosaurs, just, you know, that's what kids love. So for me, I was lucky enough that I was there when the G1, I suppose, era hit, as it's now known. And then looking as an adult based, it was the early sort of 2000s, because I was silly enough to sell my Transformers collection at a school fete in 1992 to buy Schwarzenegger videos, videos from Woolworths, none of which you can get anymore. And yeah, so I sold all them, again, went through the teens and then the 20s. And then I remember just being on eBay messing around in the early 2000s, and I thought, I want to get a couple of figures back. And I did, and it was just something little. And then I think when it was that I saw MP1, I saw somebody had MP1 on one, whatever it was. And then from there, so like we're talking, yeah, 2000, when was that? 2002-ish, something like that. I think I'd say, if I was honest, I probably started collecting as an adult properly in about 2004. I had a few little things, but then the main, where I class myself as a collector, because rather than just having a couple of little figures here or there, the couple had got to like 5 or 6, 7 or 8, and I was like, yeah, okay, now I'm an actual adult collector, shall we say.
That's cool. And if you had to say there was a theme, I can kind of guess what you can say, but if there's a theme to your collection, what would you say it is?
It's, yeah, the spine of it, the majority of it's Generation 1, purely for them reasons, for the nostalgia, the fact that I was lucky enough to have some of them when I was a kid. And then I think this is the same with all of us adults when we come into collecting, because we've got a little bit more disposable income or whatever. So yeah, it started off with, I'll get the ones back I had as a kid because I've got great memories. Then it was, I'll get the ones that I really wanted but we couldn't have for whatever reason, because again, just, you know, normal upbringing, no rich parents or whatever, just normal. So get the ones which I really wanted. Then it was a fact of, right, let's get the ones that we couldn't get. And again, you're a UK guy, so you know, obviously we call it the curse of the UK, No Swoop, and all the other ones. I'm not going to list them all again because there's so many, but then it went from, it just went on to that, to the ones that I've never had. And then of course it escalated.
No, that's cool. So I've seen your videos. I remember you joined TF UK, seeing your pictures of your G1 collection is absolutely immense. Of those G1 toys you picked up, what would you say, first of all, what's your favorite, or one of your favorites you managed to pick up, and what ones were quite hard to get?
Right, so one of my favorites, and again, this is, I say this quite a lot, and I need to do an updated video to be fair, is Scorponok, and that's purely just because the memories of him, and I just can literally remember for like hours and hours just transforming him, between each mode as a kid, just playing with him. So it was really cool to get him back. I remember the partner that I had at the time, who's not my wife, her face, she just didn't get it anyway, bless her. But yeah, that was just getting him back was brilliant for that reason. Hardest one to get, it's quite tough actually, because I don't think there's anything that I've really sort of struggled to get. The only thing that you sort of struggle with is the price. You'll see something and you think, I can't really justify that. So I think buying, what I tended to do was sort of buy mini sort of collections to start off. So I just keep the ones that I wanted and then sell the ones I didn't. And then of course, put that money straight back into buying the ones that I actually wanted. But hardest ones would probably have to be, if we're of course just talking the standard Hasbro ones, the ones that weren't released in this country, like your Deluxe Insecticons, like your Omnibots, and what's the other ones? Because again, I've said this story on a Rudy's thing. I was lucky enough when we were in Florida, because I was buying stuff from Transformer Land, and I'd asked Matt, his name is the guy who's got that in America, I'd said to him, can you just collect, like, I think Big Bad Toy Store call it like a pile of loot. So you just save a load of things up and they ship it all at once. So because I know I was going to Orlando, I said, can you save all these figures and then just post them to my hotel? And he said, and he was brilliant. He was like, where are you staying? And he said, you're a couple of hours, come and get them. And I was like, so yeah, so the ones that weren't released in the UK were the big ones for me, because for that reason, I'd never seen half of them before. Yeah, they were the hardest to get for that reason, because they're really, really expensive in the UK for that reason. Whereas in America, because they're just commonplace, they're much, much cheaper. And obviously it saves on the import costs.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. They're great answers. Right. So we've also got your YouTube channel as well, which is Toys Are Russ.
Yes.
So what, how did you get into that? So you were collecting, you were enjoying collecting. What was the step up to then you thought, right, I really want to get out there, get on the YouTubes?
It's really weird, because I suppose there's a couple of answers to it. First and foremost is, although I think I put my first collection video up on the 2nd of March, and it was totally wrong. It was like portrait. It was just a getting used to things. I'd done a couple of 10-second skits just to see if my phone was even able to do it. But I think some of the main reasons were, I'm a personal trainer by trade. So a couple of my clients knew about it. They'd seen it. And of course, some of my friends and family, and they were just like, this is ridiculous. It's like, you need to get it out there. You need to, exactly that. And I was like, but I don't really have the time. And then obviously this horrendous virus and this horrendous situation that unfortunately for us in the UK, we are still in at the moment, was coming over. And I've got a client called Matt, bless him. And he's a doctor. And he's like, it's coming, we're going to be locked down. You can't escape it. We're going to be locked down. And of course, it was something, then I just thought I might as well do something. It was just, I thought I've got the time. I really perhaps would like to do it, get it out there, see what it's like. And then because I had the time, I just took complete advantage of it and I just thought, let's get it out there. And then I make a joke as well, but it's definitely true. It's also a brilliant physical inventory, because again, if you've seen some of my videos, I like to collect variants. I did a video called An Onslaught of Onslaughts, and I've got, I think, 8 versions of Onslaught, all Generation 1. 3 of them are sealed, so they've never been opened. And can you imagine, God forbid, some wood here, that we ever had a fire or for whatever reason something happened, and I know, of course, they're insured, but then I contact the insurance and say, I've had this figure, I had 8 of them, and they'd be like, why have you got 8 of them? Or you haven't, sort of thing. And I'd be like, there's a video there. So that's like a little joke, but of course it's true. If you've got physical evidence of what I've actually got, it's there, isn't it? And then, sorry, I'm waffling now completely.
Oh, no, it's fine.
But then, like, because it's sort of my goal, and I've said this on my channel a couple of times now, I want my channel to sort of be the go-to place, research place, of people, because I do get messages constantly get messages, which I don't mind. Sometimes it takes me a day or two to get, around to them. People initially are asking if things are KOs, if they've been, I don't want to use the term duped, because you'd like to think that most sellers are like, legit, but sometimes just don't know. People haven't got the information or the background to know. So a lot of it's that. But then the other thing is the Mexican releases, which are all completely legit and they're so different. I just think it'd be brilliant to have an actual visual storage or research point of interest where you can say, right, I've got this figure, it's Starscream. If I go onto Russell's channel, if I type in Starscream, maybe mine's a Mexican one, maybe it's a Greek one, whatever it is. And if I can video document as many variants as I can of the figures that are out there, then I think that's just a brilliant for everybody to use as well as myself. So that's the other onto.
Well, it's great to hear you got that sort of vision as well, and that sort of goal to go towards. I think so many people just sort of skitter off into sort of any direction with their collections and with their YouTube videos, but to have that sort of focus, it must pay off. Must pay off, definitely. Cool, brilliant. So just a final couple of questions. So out of the videos you've done so far, what's your favorite? What's your favorite one you really enjoy doing?
That's a great question, and I think, to be fair, and whether or not it's just because I'm getting used to it, I think some of the more recent ones, I think, and it's not because they're rare figures, but it's because, and it's quite funny because they're not even the top watched videos. Like the top watched ones, you obviously do YouTube yourself. You can do like something that's, you think, yeah, this is really good. It's really rare. Nobody knows much about it. And you get a few watches. Then you'll go and stick one with 3 bumblebees on and it gets, you know what I mean? It gets 300-400 things. So the ones that, even though the interest's growing, and I think that's because it's sort of a direction that I'm not taking the channel in 100%, but I suppose the word is educating, because that's what people are saying, like with the Japanese figures. So like I did a Star Saber video when I first started off, and it wasn't terrible, but it was just like me holding my phone, no tripod, and basically just saying, here he is in modes. Whereas I did another one just before Christmas and on Overlord. So basically the Japanese exclusives. And I get really nice comments from people like, I didn't even know this exists, or it's so great to see this. And again, they're not the most popular videos, but they're the ones that I really, really like doing, because I do feel that, you know, people who really want to know, they're getting so much out of it. And they say that as well in the comments, like, you can tell that you're really excited about this. You can tell that you're enjoying doing this. So them ones, I think the Japanese exclusives, purely for the fact that, again, me 10, 15 years ago when I was picking up, I was like, what are these? These are amazing. So to show people that as well, I love doing them ones, to be fair.
That's brilliant. There's something so pure, isn't there, about someone getting genuinely excited about what you're doing and what you're collecting, and you can talk about it. There's a real honesty about that we really like. So talk about other YouTubers. What sort of YouTubers, who are your sort of favorites, your go-to guys?
It always was, and the thing is with this, with my YouTube as well, because I was so busy and didn't have any plans to do my own, I didn't really got to be honest, and there's a few people who are watching now, obviously, because I've got into it, and ever since March, I've got totally into it, not just my channel, but getting into everybody else's channel as well. Used to watch Collector 75 Graham. I'm sure everybody in the UK says this, and everyone you're going to interview, apart from him, will say him, because he had some of the Japanese stuff, and it was just watching his things. And again, he sort of helped me with my decisions, which is what I want to do with people on, am I going to spend this money on this particular figure? Is it really worth it? So watching him, I had watched a couple of Patriot Primes as well, just to get on. Because again, but I think the biggest thing that I didn't do was get totally caught up in it, because you can see so many people. But Graham's up there nowadays. There's loads of people I watch. There's you guys, there's Rudy. I love Ultra Marcus. He started the same time as me. He's just funny, isn't he? And I love plugging him on my channel, because I just think, and I totally appreciate the time and effort that he goes in. And it actually bothers me when someone gives him a thumbs down. It's like, how can you give him a thumbs down? He's done something, you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but don't give him a thumbs down, because that's a lot of hard work and effort he's gone into. So I think his stuff he's doing is brilliant. All of this, we all were part of it together, the bots at home, you know, the conventions, anyone on that roster. So Magnum Prime, yourselves, Rudy, Zort Rider, all of them, all us UK guys, Bumble Jumper. There's too many of them, obviously. I hope I've not missed anybody out of the top of my head, but yeah, us guys, because it just seems that we're all growing at the same time, and that's really nice, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's kind of like, there was a bunch of us just kind of started all around the same time, like within the last 2 to 3 years. We've all kind of ended up getting to know, like Rudy Suzu's Science Fancy experience on YouTube. He's kind of got us together. We've been chatting in messenger groups and stuff. He's pulled us all together. And then and we're speaking to some of the guys, I'm sure they won't say, mind me saying, but it lulled sort of like 6 to 7 years ago. And they're saying they're feeling reinvigorated, and they're coming back to the scene, and they're producing more videos now. So there's a bit of a buzz at the moment going on. It's just great meeting other people, other YouTubers.
100%, and I echo that with the fact as well that I say this honestly, that I massively regret not going to any of the conventions. And then, this is the time when exactly that's the places we want to be going to. But of course, for obvious reasons at the moment, they're not happening. So, and I'm so jealous of all the Americans and Canadians who've got their TFCon and they're parading all their tickets and hotel bookings over Instagram and stuff. But yeah, in the future.
The cool thing is the cool thing is that TFN's been cancelled. That's awful, and that's where I've only been twice. Both times were amazing, but obviously it's not going to go ahead this year. I think yourself, us, and some others will be getting on for a virtual convention, won't we? Under Rudy's banner, he's already suggested it. So there's that coming, and that'll be sort of August time, and we'll be doing a video on that.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Again, a great organisation, and again, he does this, of course. He does it all off his own back. He's got an own job. He's got his family. He's got a young family, so you've got to take your hat off to him for even wanting to do that. It's fantastic.
Yeah, twins. Cool. That is hardcore. Right, listen, thank you so much for joining us today, Russ. That was absolutely excellent. What a great way to kick off this new section. What I will do is put the links to Russ's channel down in the comments. I'll put that some of your favorite videos, the Japanese rare videos as well, of Overlord. I'll stick those links in as well. So please go and like and subscribe over to Russ. But we're always on TF UK and all the other groups and stuff, so you can always come and have a chat with us there. That's it. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Stop. Thank you so much, Toys R Us, Russell, for joining us on that Collector's Corner. We'll do another one next week. Listen, if you want to get involved, please, we'd love to see your collection. Just go to TF UK or Transformers The Show, search Facebook, and get in contact with us there. It would just be a little interview, a Zoom chat with myself or one of my other co-hosts, and some photos. We'd love to see people's collections because we've got some amazing collections. We've seen some amazing collections. It's nice to share and see how you will display it. So, right, on to Rohan's Corner. Rohan, you lovely man, take it away, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen, and hello to all my sheepatrons out there. Welcome back to another edition of Rohan's Corner, and after a week of absence to hang out with those hippies on the show, we get to delve back into discussion time. So, what's on the agenda for this week's discussion? Well, I thought maybe we could talk about what's happening after Kingdom, because we're all Hasbro fans at the end of the day. I mean, I know some people have moved away into third-party offerings only, MP or Legends or other bits and pieces, but ultimately Transformers all came from Hasbro, right? And so we have some sort of affinity with Hasbro. And as we've seen this week, Hasbro launched the UK Pulse site to the very big anticipation of us all. And, there are a few things maybe possibly interesting on there, maybe not. But anyway, the question remains, what's going to happen after Kingdom? After such a strong showing for the War for Cybertron trilogy in Siege and Earthrise, we've gotten halfway through almost Kingdom. Well, depending on how many waves there are going to be. If there's going to be 3 like there were with Earthrise, then we're already starting to see Wave 2 out there. And the sun's coming out, it's March time, believe it or not. What's going to happen at the end of this line, at the end of the year, when we transition into the next Transformers line? Are we setting up for the new movie that has been talked about for the last year, 2 years? This big 2022, I think it is, movie that's supposed to be being filmed now, or starting the storyline script now at least. We had a big battle between Bumblebee 2 and between a Beast Wars movie, and it sounds like the Bumblebee 2 movie won out on that, despite the fact that this is the 25th anniversary of Beast Wars. And that's evident from the Kingdom line, and actually it kind of makes sense, because Kingdom is out there, we've got all the Beast Wars toys being reintroduced, redeveloped into new updated molds, fantastic. And this week we saw the launch of all the original Beast Wars figures being redistributed in updated packaging, retro packaging, which, tickles maybe a few people. Hopefully it tickles some of you. It definitely doesn't tickle me. I sold off all my Beast Wars toys a while ago. I'm not even collecting the Beast Wars toys in Kingdom. I know that some of the guys are, and I know that some of you are. So if it is good for you, fantastic. If not, then what's coming out for all of us next year? So I've been racking my brains and thinking about this. Are we going to get more G1? I think we're going to get drip-fed G1 for a while. And that comes down to the fact that people like the Kingdom Huffer has come out. However, Kingdom Gears, which was touted and shown on that display piece, that artwork to be coming out in the Kingdom line has been pushed back. And my hope is that he's definitely going to be coming out in the next line or in a later line, along with possibly the Nemesis and possibly some other ships or playsets or large sort of Transformers in the Titan class range. Hopefully we haven't seen the last of Titan class with the Ark. Let's fingers crossed. And in terms of Commander class, we've had some great figures so far. Jetfire was brilliant. Skylynx was good. Rodemus Prime seems to be both sides of the coin at the moment. People love him, people hate him. I'm sort of in the middle. And maybe we'll see some better Commander class figures coming out in the future. You know, hopefully something like Astro Train would have been ideal, but yeah, they made him into a Voyager size leader class. Hey ho. Anywho, so my thoughts are, well, it's 25 years since Beast Wars, and that's why we got Kingdom. What's the next line in the iteration? Well, it was, you know, Beast Machines, really, which came out a couple of years later, but it was so poorly received and the toys were terrible. Maybe there's an opportunity to revisit some of those toys. Definitely the Veercons, I think. They would definitely hold up well. We've already seen some redistribution of some of the characters like Tankor. I'd love to see, you know, Obsidian and Striker and some of the other Veercon generals that we had in Beast Machines coming back. And I'd like to see some updated versions of the Beast Machines characters, because those toys were atrocious. Mix some G1 in with that to, you know, fill out the line. And, you know, people have been calling for Sure Shot and Point Blank and other characters who haven't filled out the line yet. And we're starting to get a lot more selects or exclusives with Generation 2 characters or toys that we got in the old days being updated into today's colors. So that would be okay if we took another Seeker mold or another car mold and updated it into a G2 or some sort of later G1 character. That would be okay. We could get a couple of those in there too, just to flesh it out. But what's going to happen after that? I mean, my thoughts are I'd really like to see an updated version of the RID line, because some of those toys, while they had really cool alt modes, the bot modes were sort of a little bit messy and chunky and kind of Bay-like in a way, with the way in which the human appendages worked. I wasn't a big fan of that. In fact, I actually have sold off most of my RID line. And we've had rumors that we're going to be getting updated versions of the Unicron Trilogy toys. Now, Unicron Trilogy 2003, 2004, 5, 6, that sort of time frame, it's only 15 to 20 years old. And so do we really need the updated figures now, or should they hold off and do that when it gets to a more sort of larger milestone? You tell me, I don't know. I know that there's a lot of fans of the Unicron Trilogy, and that a lot of the 21st century fans actually started with the UT trilogy, and so have a big affinity with that. For me, I'm not a big fan. The shows were weak, the toys were weak. I've sold off a lot of them. But, you know, some of the characters were cool, and I'd like to see them updated, and I'd like to see them come back as well. So that's my idea for the next 3 lines. Is going to be a combination of Beast Machines with G1, G2, and then RID with G1, G2, and then after that, maybe that can flesh out a trilogy, possibly, and then after that, Unicron Trilogy for three lines, again, Armada, Energon, and Cybertron. That would make sense to me, and that would take us all the way up for another 5 years. And at the same time, who knows, the Studio Series 86 line could be fleshing out more G1 movie characters, or maybe it could go back to Season 1, Season 2, or Season 3, ideally, to flesh out the range there. Anywho, what do you all think? Let us know. It'd be good to hear from you. For another week, I've been Rohan. Join me again next week on Rohan's Corner. Back to the studio.
So, on our discussion tonight, we've got the news that Hasbro Pulse is coming to the UK. So all you chug lords will be able to get the thrust that you're after, and all those rare Walmart exclusives. Fingers crossed. We've already had a load of people surge onto the website, and there's apparently a premium membership or a special membership you can get to. So it's great to have David with us tonight, because I know you've already joined up. Jamie, you were probably waiting at midnight, ready to join up, and are probably their #1 VIP at the moment. And Andy, no doubt you'll be there as well. So Boys,
Oh dear.
pulse away.
Jamie's single-handedly holding up the entire toy business of the UK at the moment. But,
Yeah, the scalpers there with their bot machines trying to get in, being defeated by Jamie ordering.
Jamie's firewalled.
I wanted to buy that server, wasn't it?
No.
You've already ordered then, haven't you, Dave?
Yeah, I did. It was weird though, because like I didn't even know it was coming until like an hour before it launched.
Yeah, it was. It did
was
seem
just-
out of the blue, didn't it?
It was completely out of the blue. It was like, in fact, I'll tell you how completely out of the blue I think it is, and how mishandled the launch possibly of it was. It's the fact that I literally got a message today from somebody saying, I'm not paying 20 quid just to be able to order some toys. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't have to. The website is so like weirdly put together and has been rushed out that like people are literally thinking they have to subscribe to the premium service in order to be able to buy toys off them. Like, no.
There's two different things. You can just order like you could normally on Hasbro Pulse, or you could sign up. And what do you get with the premium, or is that still a bit?
So because I've bought the premium. So they're touting this premium as £40 a year, but if you get it before the end of March, it's 20 for the first year, and for that you get free postage and packaging, which is good, and I'll explain why I think it's good and why I've bought it. And then you get exclusives. I'm guessing pre-sale maybe or something like that, but we don't really know. There's something else you're going to get, but they haven't exactly told us what
A
yet.
sticker sheet and a pen.
So
You
I
could
don't
go
know.
to the front of the queue, or it could be. I mean, at least it would be like you go to the front of the queue for a pre-release, or I don't think
Hasbro
they would do
points.
it, but exclusive figures just for
Yeah,
Hasbro
the ones with
privilege.
Hasbro points. Bring them back where you have to clip and collect the points off the backs of the packaging
That
and then
would be
send them off
amazing.
for a
Yeah.
bot you never get in the
So-
UK.
It sounds like almost like Amazon Prime, like Hasbro Prime, and obviously then you get these additional little things every now and then. Like they throw like a discount here or there, or a bit of this here or there, or you might get like the occasional say this is coming out before. You might get like a pre-order, or I don't know. They might do that.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things on the website which have got me a bit confused. So I'll tell you why I bought the premium thing. So they do free P&P on any order over 40 quid anyway. Because I went on and immediately they had Hot Rod and Scourge. And they're not available yet at Smith's, which is where I would normally buy them from. But they had them there. And I believe, could be wrong about this, but I think all the rest of the main UK distributors in demand, Kapow, I still think they're waiting on their shipment. So I bought them straight away. So I was waiting on them. They've got also the 4 classic the Titan Master Headmasters in classic box. But they're touting them as an exclusive. But I know other dealers have had them up for pre-order, but they were only like offering them as a pre-order for like a complete set. So I'm not exactly sure what the deal is there. Whether it's just the dealers thought that they couldn't shift individual ones, I've got no idea.
I think that might be it, because I've seen a few of the independent Transformers and toy retailers selling them off individually, and that's how I got Chromdo up there. Because he was the only one that was different enough for me to justify picking it up.
You see, the only one I've bought is Hardhead, because Hardhead comes with the maskless face now.
Yes,
the
he does,
cartoon
that's right.
accurate version, as opposed to the original Titans one, which is the Japanese head.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's the only one I'm going to buy. But the way I was thinking about this, and the reason I bought the premium thing, was because I was thinking to myself, well, hold on a minute. Like, if I buy, it's 20 quid and I get free postage and packaging. So if I buy all of my deluxes from Hasbro, or Voyagers or whatever it's going to be, I'm going to get that 20 quid back, irrespective of what else they do. But, and this is the thought that like really cemented as getting it, is that I can technically now go onto their website and buy every figure individually. So I never have to worry about the combined shipping nightmare that we usually have. You know, you go in any other UK store, quite rightly, you know, these are small independent businesses and stuff like that. If you want all of your toys sent out when they get them, then you're going to have to pay individual shipping. Whereas with Hasbro Pulse, you pay this 20 quid a year. And so, you know, I've just bought all of the toys that are up for pre-order that I want individually. So if they end up being split or whatever it is, I know I'm going to get them as soon as Hasbro get them in.
And will you be able to get a whole wave? So, you know, with Kapow, you can order a wave, can't you? The wave 2 of Titan's Return. I remember ordering whole waves. Can you do that? Do you reckon that will be a Hasbro thing?
I mean, it doesn't seem like that. It doesn't.
It's more like a Smith's website, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more Smith's website. But I just, and I hate saying this because, you know, I'm good friends with a lot of the UK toy store owners and stuff like that, because obviously I've worked with them for many years with a convention and stuff. But God, I would love to have been a fly on the wall when they heard about this. Like,
well, first they had the Zavi thing, didn't we? With the Zavi,
yeah, we were talking about that.
Then they've had this.
Was it Kapow, I think, who put a statement on Facebook basically saying that they were as surprised as anyone because they found out when all of a sudden it was announced Hasbro and Zavi and everything having this partnership.
Yeah,
because Kapow had been very loyal to Hasbro, and you know, when other companies like In Demand were importing stuff, they were waiting because Hasbro were telling them they were going to get this stuff. They, you know, they were preferred partner and all that. And then, yeah, it does seem a bit strange in the way they've done it. But maybe that's just my naivety with business. And
but the way of Hasbro Pulse, though, the small independents where Hasbro Pulse was happening.
Yeah, I think
they were planning for that. They had a mixture of excitement because they're Transformer fans as well. But then also, you know, they're worried about how the field might change, you know, not only because Hasbro is going to have first dibs on exclusives, in the sense that people tend to order away the first time the Transformer appears, but also the fact that a lot of these independents, like you say, they depend upon, you know, often good deals when it comes to, you know, putting down a deposit. And what might even happen is, even if these small independents get the first dibs on releasing the items, you know, people put down a deposit, Hasbro Pulse gets the stuff in stock first, they might end up cancelling the deposits, which has happened unfortunately already for shops that can demand that, and they've went to Hasbro Pulse.
I know at least 3 people who've cancelled pre-orders on various websites to get their hands on Hot Rod and Scourge.
And wasn't there some people have said, you know, was this a deliberate Hasbro maneuver that they held back stock knowing Hasbro Pulse was going to be launching so they can stick them on the website, you know, and people will see and go, oh, well, I'll cancel my pre-order elsewhere. And
I don't think if you're Hasbro, you'd have a roadmap, wouldn't you? So you'd have Hasbro US. So they rolled that out, didn't they? They had Hasbro US, and they wouldn't have just gone, let's see how that goes. They would have said, if it works well, what are the countries we're going to trial it in next? And what's the measure? What date do we get to? When we get sufficient amount of sales, we will then go, right, UK, Hasbro Pulse UK. So it wouldn't have been anything to do with In-Demand Toys or Kapow or anything. Hasbro would have just said, that's our roadmap, and that's how we're going to roll it out.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been a malicious plan.
No, I mean, it's a total business thing, isn't it? I mean, the UK market is, I mean, I wouldn't care to say in terms of actual monetary return, but the UK collector scene is huge, you know, for such a small country. And Transformers has always been a massive part of UK, you know, fan culture for the last 30 years. It's a perfect place to set it up. But, you know, if you're Hasbro, why are you going through a third party? Like, why do you have a middleman when you now have the infrastructure to be able to do this? And I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised if this has all been as a result of, you know, the COVID pandemic and stuff like that.
Oh, the scalpers, the realizing that scalpers are making money, not almost being like a triple middleman
Yeah.
Just looking at the website as well, though, it's not just Transformers. They've got Star Wars on there, Marvel, Power
Ghostbusters, GI Joe. I mean, I got interested for the GI Joe. I mean, that's what
Power Rangers.
Yeah,
Power Rangers are Hasbro.
They haven't
really wanked
they haven't
Hasbro them over. Honestly,
they haven't got a lot on there.
Hasbro have made Power Rangers.
There's not massive.
They have some of the army builders when it comes to GI Joe, which was good. And that there was a couple of figures which scalpers were targeting already, and then suddenly Hasbro come in the scene, and it's given people a lot of relief being able to order these figures. Already sold out now, but it's great in the sense, I don't think the scalpers were ready, and I don't think they're organised, and I think the premium option is good. I've definitely taken it up. In fact, if they asked me for 40 quid, I probably would have paid it. If that's for a pint of blood, I probably would have happily have given it as well. But I just wanted to make clear, I don't have anything against people who are cancelling their orders. I don't think it's a good thing to do long term. I don't think it's a good thing to do yourself, because it's almost like you could be shutting doors down to yourself for future import releases, especially if Hasbro Pulse UK gets treated badly by its parent company. So I don't think that's smart.
No, but when you said about your MSC, Jamie, your bit which was missing, that's an independent company which has sorted your bit out for a £5, isn't it? They've sent you the bit and replaced it. It's not a big corporate company. And you lose that if you allow big corporations to take over. They just they can't deal with that minutia of things going wrong, can they?
Exactly.
I do wonder whether. Oh, sorry, go on, Matt.
I was just going to say, because of the size of all these small independents, they're forced to give good customer service because they live by that. But if you suddenly have a monopoly going on, and suddenly, your Hasbro might not be like your Amazon, where you feel comfortable with and can complain about. It could be just like dodgy ground. And I know May Lynn, her first thing to me was she felt sorry for these small independents when she read the post. And she said, you better not, virtually effectively, you better not cancel anything.
It's not just brand loyalty though, is it? Because, we've had a Hasbro website in the UK before, quite a few years ago, and it ended up being crap because it was understocked, it was getting things in late, it was, you'd go to it and it was hopeless. And they got rid of it in the end. And then we've been reliant so much on all of these independent companies. And, they have done well, personally speaking. They have done well by us. And now it does feel a little bit like, you don't want them to just die out because they lose out on so many sales that it's just not viable for them to continue. But at the same time, you can totally understand why, as UK collectors, a Hasbro Pulse website, we're like, oh,
and they're guaranteed to get it, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's also the same as Smiths. Like Smiths still get all the releases, but we still go to Kapow and things like that. So.
But Smiths don't stock everything. Smiths will get a certain section of Transformers, because if we concentrate on that for the moment, I love the Transformers, but they don't get everything in. Whereas you would hope that the Hasbro Pulse UK will be like Hasbro Pulse US, and it's literally all of them. So you've got a better chance of getting, like we've said, Thrust and any other exclusive type sets. All those Amazon sets, maybe, I don't know, because they're Amazon exclusives. Will we?
Well, they're Amazon exclusives to the US.
Exactly.
Maybe so that's if that's the way they get around it. If they get around it by basically saying, like, look, yes, we're going to stock everything, but we're still going to give, because they're not going to not sell product to Smiths and stuff like that, and the other big online retailers. But if you've got a deal in the US with Amazon or something like that, rather than trying to then find a distribution partner in the UK that's going to stock this one particular item, and this item itself, is a repaint or something like that, or it's a more expensive toy to produce. Smiths isn't going to pick that up because what they want is the cheap stuff, or and the regularly available stuff. So it makes sense that you cut out the middleman, you stop trying to negotiate and stuff like that, and you basically just produce your own website where you can sell the stuff. What I was absolutely terrified for when this launched was they were going to have some Unicrons in stock. I was sat there like,
and I would have bought it. I would have.
I would have. I literally had my credit card at the ready. I was like, please don't.
Why do I have this mental image of like you in that room with the door locked and Gracie banging on the other side?
Just banging on. What are you doing, Dave?
Don't you
dare!
Step away from that computer, Dave. Dave, I can hear clicking. I can hear clicking.
Trying to get running outside with a shovel, trying to hack at the phone lines.
Take the internet out.
It's interesting you said that, Dave. I was reading through the FAQs, and it does mention a section on things like crowdfunding and again, there's a whole section on exclusives as well. And again, obviously, this is a whole thing of, you know, if they've got beforehand, logistics was an issue, right? They didn't have a distribution network, right? Now, if they've got a warehouse which is central, they can actually get stuff over fairly reliably. Then they've got this again. But is it aimed at us? Is it aimed at someone who doesn't quite know where to go? Because not everyone knows about the stores, right? So if you get into it, you can't really want to get that, right? Where would you go? You go to the source, right? So you've got that. So you don't always have the network that we do because we're quite educated in this space. But again, if they're going to do the crowdfunding piece as well, and potentially, as you said, there might be people that back out of the crowdfunds. It might be like where
but they weren't. It was like they lose the deposit, wouldn't they? That was the point.
They would lose it's double bubble. Yeah, but double bubble for Hasbro, right? They lose the deposit, they can resell the item at full price again. And you say, like, what happened in the US, right? Our exclusives just like they've milked it as much as they can and get exclusive. What's left, they just ship it over here, right? Because again, you look at the delivery options, return options as well. It's like it looks like it's just UK and Northern Ireland that they're sending to at the moment.
No, you can't. They're not shipping to Northern Ireland yet.
It's not Northern Ireland. I didn't really know. So just UK again, and again, it's got like the same sort of like 30-day returns window. There's nothing special about that. And I think as well, when you go to the independent stores, you go to Powers and Demands and Robot Recruits, everyone else, right? You do get that personalized touch as well. So if you do have an issue, you can have a personal conversation with someone and they can actually identify it and try and fix it for you. Again, there is a customer service point on here as what you can talk to as well. And he's gone. That's it. He's had enough of this. And I just
walked out.
I don't know.
Morgan.
Again, if you've had issues with your Transformer toys, and again, we do know that it's an absolute pig sometimes to get things done. And obviously, do you go back to the independent, which is sorted out for you? And again, you're giving them grief, or do you go to here and think you're going to get better?
I tend to go to Hasbro when I have an issue personally, and Hasbro are quite good. And especially when it comes to things like if you're worried about a condition of a box, they will send you a new empty box. If you're really into the artwork, I think they have. It's a small team then. I think based in the Netherlands. Holland, Dutch, but they're quite a good team and they're quite established. And another thing is, I think I would like to make clear again, because sometimes I don't want a witch hunt to start happening for people who have cancelled orders. I don't think it's a great thing, but I can understand why people have, and I'm in the privilege where I like to get 2 copies of certain Transformers, as you guys know. So me ordering from Hasbro Pulse was no problem because I was never going to cancel my orders. I don't mind waiting for these guys to arrive.
I was going to say as well, the other interesting thing about the website as well is that there's an unbox section. So if you go to the unbox section, it's got the sort of like previews and sort of special
photography
features and photography. And there's I've been scrolling through and there's one which says Transformers War for Cybertron Arc Blueprint. So you can click on that and potentially see.
Yeah, we had that in one of our first episodes. Remember, we showed it.
Yeah, I thought we'd shown that.
Did you say that? I should watch.
Did you not listen to me because I was the one talking, Alexis?
It's not that he doesn't listen, Jamie. It's that he doesn't remember.
No,
I can't imagine why.
My brain's like a safe. Once it goes in, it never comes out.
Or that's not a good skill set.
Sieve.
Right.
Safe.
So it'll be safe.
I think it'll be interesting to see, especially in a couple of days' time when this Walmart exclusive thing goes live in the US, whatever that is, whether or not Hasbro Pulse in the UK, even presents it as an option. That'll be interesting. And the other thing that I'm going to be very fascinated by watching Hasbro Pulse is just, whether or not we are going to start seeing general stock showing up on their website before any. Because as I mentioned, like I'll usually buy most of my stuff from Smith's 9 times out of 10 because I'm working when pre-orders go up and I always tend to miss them. So I've just kind of relied on Smiths as being my primary
postage with Smiths.
Yeah, well, exactly. But what I've noticed is that the Scourge and the Hot Rod have just been getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And then Hasbro rocks up and literally on day one, they've got them in. So it's like, okay, did you just take the stock from somewhere else? You know, or is that going to become the thing that you do? Because I'm all for competition. You know, I'm very much a capitalist at heart. I know that's a horrible thing to admit in 2021, but
you're cancelled.
But you know, I am very much a capitalist at heart. However, it is not fair when you own, control, and distribute. You know,
you think Americans would do that? These spiritual people, they are.
Well, this is it. This is it. You know, so yeah, it's interesting. I mean, on the plus side, it's one extra place for people in the UK to be able to go. Well, England to go. You know,
Nation Northern Irish.
Because they ain't shipping the Northern Ireland.
You've done the cry thing.
Let's
do a straw poll.
You didn't even say Scotland. I was like, fuck you. Yeah, Scotland doesn't exist. What about Wales?
Well,
you know, man.
England, Scotland, and Wales.
That's almost UK show. You might have missed that part.
Scotland, that mythical.
Okay.
Like Neverland.
I want to know.
Hey, back Celtic brothers, fighting your corner.
I want to know. Right, starting with Jamie. Hasbro Pulse UK is it going to make things better or is it going to make it worse? Yes or no?
I think the more space you've got to sell Transformers, it's going to make it better. And especially
Good answer, Jamie.
Oh, sorry. I do apologize.
No,
it's because your surname's Wallace.
Keep going.
And
I know he's like a hero.
This is it.
Jamie's hero, William Wallace. No, David. So, yes or no? Is it going to make it better? What do you think?
I think it will. Just so long as I said, you know, just as I said before, as long as they don't start deliberately trying to hurt competition and stuff like that. Yeah, and you know, in a couple of years' time, you know, once you're able to buy all of your He-Man stuff and your Power Ranger stuff on there,
Dino Riders.
Oh God, could you imagine that?
Oh, masterpiece Dino Riders.
Bring back
Right,
well,
okay,
look,
right.
in 5 years' time, in what is it? No, what year is it now? It's what is it?
2021.
At least
2021. So what is it? Is it like 2 or 3 years before Hasbro get control of He-Man, and then the entire, like, with the exception of like wrestling figures, no other company is even like, you know.
Yeah, we've got all the IPs.
Yeah.
Jamie, right, Hasbro Pulse. Good thing, bad thing?
I think it might be a bad thing. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dreadfully wrong, because I think a lot of people have got the best of intentions and hoping it will be a good thing. It will be another place where we get another option of buying Transformers before they're sold out in 2 minutes. You know, but yeah, it depends what Hasbro do. If Hasbro keep the competition fair, give these small independents a chance. Independents might have to change their practice on how they do deposits. For example, they might have to be non-refundable deposits, you know, try to stop people from hedging their bets, you know, which I could understand. But I think my gut says it might be a bad thing for the community, for actual real choice. You know, especially when you think about Kapow and In Demand will get the import stocks in sometimes, which Hasbro Pulse might not even bother about, and these guys will chase things to try to get it to us. So, but I'm hoping wrong. I'm hope it's a good thing.
Oh, good answer. Right, Alexis, do you think it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm on the fence at the moment, because I mean, initially there's nothing in there. Which I mean, I've ordered like Scourge and Hot Rod and the Studio Series and everything else from where it's basically where I can get it. Really, to be honest, I ordered a bit from Comics and Cocktails, In Demand, a little bit from Kapow, a little bit from Zavvi. So where I can pick it up. To be honest, I might cancel my Zavvi order, to be honest, and buy from here because they don't care. But I'm going to keep my other independents where they are, to be honest. Because again, it'd be nice to see if there's some sort of collaboration with the locals. You know, I think there are things they could do. You know, obviously that unboxing place. I think, you know, if they actually worked collaboratively with the people that actually, you know, love and sort of have been, you know, there extended heartbeat to this part of the world, then I think they're going to get much more out of it. What I am interested in personally is the crowdfunding pieces. So if you get the HasLab stuff, potentially, if there's a way of getting that to UK without having to have, you know, difficult distribution networks and stuff, because again, it's been very difficult to get things like HasLab Unicron, unless you go through a very specific sellers, or, you know, at the last minute, you know, luckily some UK distributors like Kapow managed to get it as well, and TFS. But again, you waited. You know, I ordered mine back in August from Greg, so I got you know, it's quite lucky in that respect. So but that's I mean, so on the fence, be interested to see what happens. You know, I might if there's another announcement before the end of the month which says a bit more about what you get with this premium access, then I might put 20 quid in, because, you know, that's 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps in it. So
well, it's interesting.
London
David,
prices.
you're probably pro.
South.
Jamie, you're probably saying it might not be. Lexus, you're on the fence. So that just leaves So Andy, just over to you. Just one last thing before we finish. Why do you think CJ Face is the most disappointing character we ever
Go on, Jason.
because he's
Oh,
awesome.
sorry.
What I'm looking
what do you
forward
think
to the
about
Hasbro Pulse is
Pulse?
lots of CJ Face. No, what I was going to say is I think certainly in short term it's going to be a good thing for collectors, and I think we're going to have more access to a lot of those products that we were finding so difficult to get. Longer term, I'm not convinced it's going to be a positive thing. I think, like Jamie said, we're going to have the issues around competition, and a lot of those independent retailers that we've relied on and built relationships with are gonna get, unfortunately, quite badly damaged by this development. And it is better for us as collectors, but you know, what it does to them is a bit of a concern. It might be interesting to see. I was gonna mention to Dave before my computer decided to crash, that it'd be interesting to see if, now that they have much more of a presence through this new Hasbro Pulse UK, whether Hasbro try to get involved or asked to be involved with TFNation in the same way as they have in the US with
TFCon.
TFCon. So that would be interesting to see whether we get an official Hasbro presence at TFNation. But I mean, obviously, that's something for down the line, and we'll see. But yeah, I think short term positive. Longer term, I have concerns if it kills off some of the independent retailers, that we lose that option of choice that we might have. And then how committed are they to making this long-term work in the same way it does for the US? Because they have been so US-centric, Hasbro, particularly with Transformers, that are we going to find we're still the, you know, poor relation? You know, we're promised a lot, but will we actually receive it? I just think it's very early days to say it's brilliant for us, because I just think you know, the proof's in the pudding. We'll see as time goes on.
I think my biggest worry is looking at how American does its business. Even when something's making money, they'll sometimes just cut it and they'll focus on America. And I wonder if some of the independents might start to focus more on third party more.
I still think there's some people in America, some American fans who really, like, I've been on forums where we've been having discussions about, you know, not being able to pick up a figure, and like UK fans were saying, no, can't get not a chance. No way you can get them. You can't even get them imported. And there's US fans saying, oh yeah, it's reduced to $10 in Ollies. Yeah, we got the stats of them.
You can say that's across the board, across anything you collect. They will get Ollies. We'll get fucking $5 Star Trek CCG boxes, complete mint in box. I don't know. For me, I don't think it's going to be much of a big deal long term. I don't think that the volume's there to direct Hasbro to either way, and I don't think the volume's there to direct away from the independents. I think that this happened before. We had a service which gave you Transformers, which weren't even repaints. They were exclusive Transformers. You had the service where you get exclusive Transformers. You signed up for it, and you got each month. It never came to UK, it never came to Europe, and it only happened in the US. It was Transformers the Collectors Club, and it lasted 2.5 years, didn't it? 2.5 years to 3 years, and then it petered out. So that sort of exclusivity hasn't worked for Hasbro before. I don't think it will work again with Hasbro. And I think all you're going to get is second-hand service of the original Hasbro Pulse in the US, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the thing you've got to remember as well, though, is that the Transformers Collective Club was in partnership with another company. whereas this is Hasbro directly. But then again, this is Hasbro directly. This is Hasbro who broke off that relationship to create HasCon, did it once, and then has failed. You know, pandemic notwithstanding, has failed to be able to do it again. It's almost as if the brands don't necessarily mix well together.
Yeah, crazy.
Despite how Hasbro might want it to be. You know, yeah. I'll, do you guys think, like, this is a slightly divergent question from Pulse directly, but do you think there's any room for another HasLabs Transformers project? Like, because I've been racking my brains about this ever since I was wondering whether or not like Unicron might show up on the UK website, and I was thinking to myself, like, is there like?
Do you not think they've peaked with Unicron?
Like, Unicron would be the peak, but then
if they said like an amazing Jetfire,
that would have been the next answer.
A full-size CJ base.
Arc, the volcano base.
Could you imagine? Yeah.
See,
like,
Autobots.
14 CJ
what about Primus? What about Primus?
Primus.
I already said Primus.
That's the next one.
it'd be a repaint, wouldn't it? It's a normal Hasbro Pulse.
Is it?
Well, because this is the thing, right? I mean, irrespective of what Hasbro might say, we all know that it took them a long time to fund Unicron.
And they had to get in. They had to get in backers outside of the US, which they didn't seem
strangely long.
Would.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that like it didn't get anywhere near where it was supposed to.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think it was that then it made them think maybe we could put HasLab in other countries and realised there was a bigger support? But they had actually
No, I think they opened it up to multiple companies like Kapow and said, Kapow, we'll sell you 300 of them for £500.
Yeah.
So they bought 300.
We talked about
it jumped up, didn't it? It was T minus 4 weeks on Radio Free Cybertron, and it jumped up from 3,000 to about 6,000.
Yeah, it was
and
a massive
the backers
jump
was
at one
about
point.
8,000.
Yeah.
And it was a huge jump.
Yeah.
If you look at what they've done the Sail Barge, which was very popular. The Star was always very popular. Then it was this. Next one's the X-Men. We always said the one after that we reckon it would be G.I. Joe, like something like the SS, whatever the big ship they did.
Oh, the flag.
The
flag, yeah.
What scale? Would it be for 3-inch figures or would it be for the 6-inch
I imagine it'd be
figures?
I imagine it's the. Oh wait, I don't know.
Can you imagine the scale, Jamie, at 6-inch figures? Jesus.
But
I have that thing in your house.
Jamie's got a semi.
I reckon what would be popular.
Jamie can float it on his lake in his back garden.
Imagine
Sorry,
if
his grounds.
Can you imagine if they redid and made it bigger than Unicron again? If they did, so it came back in, because again, you look, the next one's the X-Men, which is about in a couple of years. A couple of years later, it's going to be the US flag or whatever. And a couple of years later, that might be you're talking like another 6 to 8 years out, right? Then they re-release
just after lockdown, then.
Exactly. So then when everyone's been vaccinated, then they re-release the Titans again. So you imagine they're going to then put out a 40-inch Metroplex.
Yeah. See, I just don't ever see them going the crowdfunding route ever again, because I think Unicron was probably slightly embarrassing for them, like not externally and stuff like that, but I think internally there was probably some people who probably were like, oh this isn't working as we expect. Because look, let's be honest, right? You know, if you know anything about like toy manufacture and stuff like that, the most expensive thing to do is not even to design the toy, but is like to mold, like get the molds for the toy. Like, you know, and you hear like stories about molds for toys costing hundreds of thousands of dollars and stuff like that. Yeah. And for that Unicron, I mean, they already had pictures going and stuff, so they'd already invested the money. They were just desperately trying to recoup it. And I think it was probably just a, you know, cost saving face, rather, just to like eventually have to go out to all of these other dealers and go, please just buy this. Like, otherwise I'm getting fired.
To buy it for people in the UK were going, please let us pay this Unicron.
Yeah, I know.
But that's why they reached out, wasn't it, in the end? Because the demand from overseas was the only thing that was going to fill fulfill those orders so that they could actually justify this and make it work financially. And I don't think at first they thought that was going to be the case. They maybe had it as on the back, right, well, if we're a bit short, we'll open it up to certain countries and certain retailers that we can give to. But I don't think they expected to be as far down as they were. Because was it 8,000 was the target and they were 3,000, like you said, Paul? And then
no, 8,000 was the target.
Do you think it was the Zeta
They were
effect?
at 3,000, and then they had that massive jump, which must have been where they then sold it on to other retailers, like you say, and said, right, how many do you want? We'll give you
You should listen to Radio Free Cybertron every single week. And Diecast was always saying, like, because he's a proper Hasbro.
Did the updates, didn't he?
He had a tattoo. He said he would get a tattoo if it doesn't pass. And Brian Kilby said, no, it won't. You won't get Hasbro. They won't ever get 8,000 people to spend £600, $600 on one Transformer. But it did. But every week it was just going up like this. And then suddenly it went, whoa, off the scale. Like 3 weeks before it was due to hit that
I remember
target.
that discussion. I remember that when you talk about that, I remember listening to it, and I remember their discussion of like, what the hell's happening here?
See, that's what makes me think that they might have thought of putting HasLab like into Europe or the UK at least as a base, because they've seen what happened there. I think they must have underestimated what America was like, and overestimated America and underestimated Europe and the rest of the world. And I think
of the 5 countries that HasLab's in now. You've got Azerbaijan, France, and Israel, England, and America. So why have they picked those 5?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. That's Hasbro Pulse, though, isn't it? Yeah. But it's like, the question becomes, is like, would they ever do another HasLab project? Like, it's...
I can see what you mean, though.
Or do they...
doubtful, isn't it?
Yeah, or do they just, save face and just make the thing anyway and just assume, right, well, we've got this stock anyway, we'll just sell it direct. Because if we sell it because I don't know how much Kapow were, because it was Kapow, I think, who picked up the Unicrons.
Yeah.
But I can't remember how much they ended up selling them for compared to what
600.
So
do you know
basically,
what, David? I reckon I know. So sorry to just.
No, it's all right.
Here.
He's not sorry, bro.
What they're doing right now? What they're releasing right now with the Studio Series with the Bumblebee, and they're re-releasing obviously they're rewriting Bayverse, aren't they? Can you imagine? Obviously now they've got they're releasing their Prime, aren't they? So they've got their £120 Prime, which is so high. What if they then did, in the next couple of movies, which will probably take 3 or 4 years time, a Studio Series, almost like crossover Toon Bumblebee verse Devastator? I think that'd be quite popular. Something like that. If they did something similar to that, or imagine if they did a Menasor, like a 27-inch Menasor, which was like that, which was like studio, like that, something like that. But again, there are things in the pipeline which we don't know about, which have been released as in the franchise that they might be aligning to potentially, which again we today, but when they come out, we'll be picking our jaws off the floor.
Yeah, but I think the distinction to make though is just the fact that they'll just release that, and as a result, because basically the thought process that I've got is, you make this toy, it's going to cost $600, right? Now you haven't hit that target. You need to sell more of this to somebody else. So you go to somebody like Andy at Kapow, and Andy's selling it for $600 as well. But Andy has to make a profit out of that, which means Hasbro ain't selling it to Andy for 600 quid. They're taking a loss on it. So maybe the Hasbro thought process is, and I'm sure this isn't the case, but maybe one of the thought processes is, if we'd had Hasbro Pulse set up in the UK, we could have sold it ourselves for the same amount and actually made more money, because it's getting shipped over there anyway. So yeah, like, maybe there isn't any more Hasbro HasLab stuff. It's purely just a case of set these places up and then let's sell them off. And in terms, Paul, to answer your question about like why these specific places, it's probably just like I don't know, like is it a good international base to like set up for? Have we only got Hasbro Pulse because of Brexit?
Would it just have been France?
Oh, that's a bigger question. for another
I do
woman.
know, but the emails I've been receiving have been coming from the Netherlands, so
It could be that.
So the warehouses might be in France and the UK, but
You never know.
the whole IT stuff is probably based in the Netherlands.
I don't want to finish the show on Hasbro Pulse. I want to finish the show on the M
So
to the
how-
F fuckers TFN, and I want to talk about that before we finish because that's our favorite thing. And Hasbro's awesome, but TFN's a little bit better in my opinion. Right, so we've had a couple of TFNs, and I notice every time I go, more and more people come. And the last time we came, was it 2019? It must have been 2019.
2019.
The guy who gave me my lanyard said this is the busiest year, and it was almost double the year before, which was a successful year in 2018 anyway. So if you're thinking about those sort of figures for 2022, say if everything, the world goes back to normal, that's a lot of people turning up in Birmingham to talk about Transformers.
How many were in 2019?
Off the top of my head, I can't be sure, but somewhere in the region of like 1,500.
It was the guy I spoke to, it was just getting my ticket off. He said it was like there's a substantial amount, like they can believe how many more people were coming from the year before. So you probably imagine there's now a starvation of Transformers fans now.
I am hoping so.
It's going to be crazy in 2022. All the twos, absolutely mental.
Well, I mean, that's it. You know, just fingers crossed everything returns back to normal and stuff like that, and people come back. People still want to see each other. You know, people haven't become total hermits, which I feel like I am, like on a day-to-day basis, to be honest. But you know, yeah, it's we'll just have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm coming.
I can't wait for
drinks,
2022
so I'm okay.
though. If we actually get to do it, which obviously we hope we will by then, but 2022 is going to be incredible. I mean, can you imagine all those panels that we're not going to get to see because we end up just drinking in the bar again?
I made the joke the other day that there was absolutely no way that we could peek past the animated script reading from 2019, so we invented.
Oh, that was
COVID.
good. I did catch that
was
one.
amazing.
I did catch that one, and that was really good.
That was so funny.
I said, just like, you know, yeah, no way we can top that as an event. So let's create a virus to just ground the world out.
See, that's too loud because you know conspiracy theories.
Give us a couple of years breather to try and figure out what's going on. But
that's
yeah,
got to be the worst excuse for a pandemic ever. But yeah,
The best.
We get to
the United States
2022.
best.
I don't reckon that's the time to roll out Cullum because you're going to do Peter Cullum when you're at the last TFN, and obviously COVID happened. Is it too soon? 2022?
Do you mean roll him out in a coffin now or something?
I was going to say rolling him out sounds a bit toxic.
He's not dead.
But it is that's the thing. You hope, like Paul said, the popularity of it keeps growing so much. I do worry that 2022 is demand going to outstrip.
We're going to tend to those dicks, aren't we? Those absolute pricks who go,
Oh,
can you remember 2018 when there was only 6 of us in here, even though there wasn't?
We'll be the guys sat in the corner going, we were here before it was popular.
I keep thinking of, like, imagine all this extra time the cosplayers have to plan their costumes like that. So they thought they were going to have this year, and they get
expectations
year,
are big for that.
That would be interesting.
I'm
And
expecting
happy
a 30-foot Optimus Prime now.
I was just going to say happy belated birthday to Frank Welker, who turned 75 yesterday, Friday. So happy birthday to you, Frank.
Happy birthday, Frank.
Happy birthday, Frank.
Yeah,
I know you definitely don't watch the show.
Does now.
Oh, and happy birthday to Ed.
Ed.
Yes.
No, I was going to do that
tomorrow. Happy birthday
Sunday
tomorrow,
but still, we're saying happy birthday now, so that's it. You don't get a gift.
Yeah.
This is it.
It's not Friday like Paul told me.
I'll text you a happy birthday, Ed.
Personally,
We'll all message you.
with all the pictures I send, there'll be a wee message there too.
Alexis will send you more.
Right, that's it for Transformers the Show 61.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
So where are you with your Beast Wars?
We've been trying so hard, David. Honestly, I've got Rhinox.
You're there.
I've got a Cheeto. I've got Beast Wars, the new one. I've got the new
We're
one. It's just
better.
there.
We've grown.
I just feel like you just aren't trying hard enough.
I've got 2 Megatrons and 2 fucking Black Arachnids. What else do you want? Blood.
Hey, you can't buy knowledge.
Have any of you even tried watching the show yet?
Yes, I have. I've got about 3 episodes in.
I watched it when it came out.
But then
what do you think,
other things
Andy?
took over. I think the animation grates on me, but some of the characters appeal to me. I think the problem is you need to get. It's because of the nature of any like TV show, you need to get into it more to really start to develop that bond with the characters and to actually start to give a damn and follow it on. And the thing with the storytelling with Beast Wars is everybody says to me, if you get into it and really watch it and get through into the second season and everything, then you start to really connect with it. But there's that little voice that always comes in the back of your head saying, "Truck Nut Monkey, Truck Nut Monkey." Because we were joking when you put that post on about educating us, and I said, "Oh, my favorite character, Truck Monkey and all that." It's just trying to get past that a little bit because I've got to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of the designs. That's
See, I mean, this is the thing. You're talking about CG from 1996.
Exactly.
Like
although it was award winning, wasn't it?
And it's
I'm sure Chris McFeely had commented that it won some awards at the time.
It might have done.
If they relaunched it though with modern day animation, if they did modern day animation with the same voiceovers, the same script, same story, it'd be
like Netflix
awesome.
Transformers and just be.
Oh no, not that shit.
I just feel like there needs to be like a special episode of this show where I just sit you down and we just watch the agenda with some drinks.
Go on then.
And just
We'll
like
10 shots, 10 bots.
Sometime we'll do that. Not 10 bots. Everybody has to take a drink every time Jamie says this is piss.
Like,
how about David asks us questions? If we get it wrong, we do a shot.
What's it got to be? Can we just not watch Transformers without alcohol?
If we get it right, Dave does a shot. 4 shots.
What is the alternative name for Protoform X?
Transmutate? Is it Transmutate?
Derek.
Oh, damn.
He looks like a Keith.
Cold said.
Right.
It's Ravage.
We'll have to do that sometime. I'd actually look forward to sitting and watching Beast Wars and having
I want the answer.
You do realize, Alexis, that Ravage shows up.
He does.
Yeah.
As actual Ravage.
No. Who was it? Who's the answer, Dave?
What?
Your
answers the question you asked.
Prototype X.
No. Why are you so obsessed with
It's
Transmutate?
one of 2 characters I know.
Because we don't know. It's so bad. Oh,
He knows him and Truck Monkey.
No.
Who
is Protoform X? It's
Megatron.
Transmutate's best friend, Rampage.
Rampage. I say Ravage.
I love the way we go. I didn't know that.
Who's Rampage?
Can you imagine? It's in the Transformers pub quiz, Dave?
Right, let's finish the show. So, David, thank you so much for putting up with us for another week.
You're
always
welcome.
appreciated. That is it for this show. So please go to Facebook, find us on TF UK, or look for Transformers the Show. Jamie, what is the bloody Twitter?
Transformers the Show UK. So it's TF the Show UK.
You weren't very descriptive with that. Alexis, you have to go to Instagram to find your face.
Instagram Transformers the Show.
David, are you still doing your podcast with Superman?
Hello, Prime.
No, not really. I'm just sort of I'm getting ready for the big broadcast and stuff like that. So just pretty much focusing all on that. Yeah. So if you want to see some of my musings, it's Kal-El Prime on Twitter. But that's about it.
Are you enjoying the new Superman?
The new Superman show, yeah, very much. I haven't seen episode 3 yet, but the first, the pilot and the first proper episode was really good. And then, chaps, it's the Snyder Cut next week.
Yes, I am.
So that is that
how
mean
Pants was the
Talk
original?
about that.
Right, let's not talk about this during the end of the show because
offline.
Bum it off for ages. Right, thank you so much for watching tonight. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I want to drink wine.
next week. No, that's gone wrong. Sorry. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2. Stop it. I could hear you singing that as I was trying to get ready, coming over the mic. Silly song. It's a ridiculous song. Nickelback song. Right.
Not like Nickelback.
3, 2, 1. Hello, and really posh then. Hello. 3, 2, 1. Hello.
Welcome. Pipe.
I fuck up. 3, 2, 1.
Although Dancing on Ice is on the other channel.
Is it? Oh,
Is that on now?
Dancing on Ice.
I started
I'm not sure if in the Venn diagram, Dancing on Ice.
The voice was
Priorities, people. Priorities.
Rohan.
Rohan. Somebody's got to do it. Can't tell if Paul's frozen or if he's just waiting.
Yeah. Right.
Gorgeous cheekbones of Paul Farrelly.
Oh, bless you. You was flirting with me at this time. Right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Thanks for Rohan. Awesome as always. And on to our discussion for tonight, which is all about Hasbro Pulse. So we had the news last week that Hasbro Pulse is coming to the UK. Finally, we'll be able to get those thrusts and all the other things that you chug lords love